broadcast, shouldn't there be an announcement?
Yeah, it should Okay, welcome back. Take two. You're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel, and currently broadcasting from Forbidden History Live. We'll get into this introduction written by Desert. The signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art, and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time, through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing, and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it. But they are cleverly leaving us in the dark, hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And thank you for the sound check, Lynn. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there. Love you guys. G'day, Jet, and Yogeneer, and Duck, if you're still there, and everybody else. Welcome to the program, and please excuse the OBS coming up on the screen. I'm just turning Desert's microphone on. And I'd like to welcome Dezert-Owl to the program. How's it going, Desert? And we'll get a sound check as well.
Yes, audio check, please. Testing 1, 2, 3. Audio check.
Okay,
Audio
Desert,
check.
your notifications are showing up on the desktop.
Right. Okay, I assume, Shelley, that's a 10. Okay, so my audio's good. Okay, thank you for that. And so today is the forbidden history, ladies and gentlemen. It is what is forbidden. That's why it's called forbidden history. And want to welcome all of you to this special report. Welcome. It is a battle for the mind. Okay, and this is a special presentation today called The Anatomy of a Zionist Shill, all under the cloak of religion. And the religion that is being used today is Christianity, but it is actually the doctrine that this shill, um, who goes by BARB in Tucson, BARB A, is following the tenets of the Babylonian Talmud, and follows none of the tenets of Christianity. And we will prove that today, ladies and gentlemen. This is a response. Not only is it the anatomy of a Zionist shill, but it's also the anatomy of a self-engrossed narcissist, to say the least. A response to the attacks for the last year on myself and also on NinjaCat from BARB A out of Tucson, Arizona. This is part two. Part two. We did a response on Monday, and it was developing all of the little secret game that she was playing on our network for the last year has come to light now. It says, let every word be established by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Well, we have about 4 or 5 or 6 or maybe more that are actually witnesses to the games that BARB A of Tucson, Arizona, has been playing on the Father, playing on his work, because this is the work of the Father. This is not my work, ladies and gentlemen. I've dedicated a lifetime to discovering the mysteries of life. I've been connected with the Father all my life. I had a mountain experience over 40 years ago, and the assassins are at work. Okay, so this is the anatomy. Okay, the anatomy of a Zionist shill under the cloak of religion. Okay, so let's first talk about qualifications, because the work that I have been doing, and we're going to get to how Ninja was attacked, and how we were first fooled by the friendship of this phony shill, the friendship that was offered to us, and then the turnabout and the attacks. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, that type of thing. Okay, so what I want to do first is, because we should talk about who's qualified to talk about what. Maybe I'm not qualified to talk about anything, or maybe I am. So let's talk about qualifications. So what I'm doing today is I'm putting up my resume so that people can see my qualifications in what I have been doing for the past lifetime. Okay? And I've been serving my fellow man all of my life. I don't go around attacking other people. I don't go around rumor mongering. I mind my own business. I have a job that I was given by the Father above to do, and that was to speak truth from the mountaintop. Okay? It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. And I understand now that this shill, BARB A in Tucson, is even parroting me now and plagiarizing my work and using my quotes and my axioms and all of that. So that's what the shill does. You see, they attack, they destroy, they rob, they steal, they parrot. Okay, and they put themselves up on a little pedestal and make everybody think they're so important, and it's about control. And you're going to hear about the control that this creature from Jekyll Island has played on Ninja, and also on Lynn, our engineer, and on others. Okay, on Mew Mew. So we're gonna spill the beans today. We're gonna put it all on the table, what has happened to us by this very wicked creature. So I think the first thing we should do is I should put my resume up on the screen today, and I think on her channel she should put her resume up as well, so that the world can see what her qualifications are to attack and destroy a lifetime of work and a science called the Indo-Germanic mother tongue, which is the original Aramaic, that nobody is qualified to talk about except the very few people in the higher ups of scholastics. And most of them are dead now, because the real, main part of it came out in the 1800s, And so the founders, the pioneers that brought all it together, it takes 1,000 lies or a million, excuse me, a million lies to cover the first lie. Okay? And so it's about the cover up of the grand scheme of who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are, and what are we going to do about it, you know? And so, here's my resume. So you read the first part here, A. Micah Hill, Desert Owl. My name is a spiritual metaphor, okay? The Father, he opened my eyes, and I could see, and I knew that I was a desert owl. So I hyphened that at the end of my name. Okay, I was in Kingsland, Georgia till double agents also infiltrated my network, therealpublicradio.net. And then I ended up without a home, because when you do this thing from your back pocket and you're living on donations and the love support of other people, because you can't do this stuff full time and have a regular job, then you're on the edge of a knife, and you can easily fall off the precipice if people do you enough damage, you know. And so that's what's happening, of course. But the real injury is happening to Ninja. I'm not feeling it as much as NinjaCat, who she pretended to be a friend of. And so we'll address that right after we talk about my qualifications. So a bird who sees in the night, a collector of lost writings, a mythologist, word etymologist, symbologist, author of the Real Da Vinci Code etymological dictionary that we make available for free. If you don't have any funny money, you can't make a donation. We just give it to you. The first presenter of the original thought. First presenter, okay? The first on planet Earth, other than those who have written the Indo-Germanic dictionaries going back to the 1800s. I am the only one presenting something that is relevant to our truth, ladies and gentlemen, and who we really are on this planet, okay? The first presenter of the original thought within modern diction. There is nobody that can criticize this work, because they don't know the science. And all they can do is listen in, and maybe they'll learn something and maybe ask a couple good questions, and then they'll find out where this is all at, okay? I'm an author, translator, historian, researcher, radio host, network producer. I produced near 100 radio programs, somewhere up between 60 or 70, I think, at least. And I did all different topics, from health to CPS issues to law, 7-day-week law programming. You're going to learn a little bit more about that, okay? When I faced the ultimate scum, who are in league with BARB A from Tucson, the river pirates of West Virginia, the Freemasons, and then they tried to take away my freedom for good, okay, and with death threats as well, and attempts on my life. I wrote this quote. I said, once we can begin to comprehend the true nature of things, then we can begin to comprehend that there is nothing really more to complain about, okay? Because it is a psychopathic world. It is a sick world with sick people like BARB A in Tucson, who's following the doctrine of the Babylonian Talmud while she's professing, oh, Jesus loves you, yes, and of course it says to love your enemies, but she hates us. And she's willing to do everything she possibly could to destroy our work. Okay, so love your enemies, but hate Desert Ninja and do everything to destroy the great work that they're doing. Go to the Cosmic Essence. I don't know why it's not on the link there, Ninja. After we fix that, but could you fix that on the what do you call it? The description. It's supposed to be visible there.
I can't fix it until I go out of the desktop. I can do it.
All right,
so
go to the Cosmic Essence link. Go to the
just go to my thumbnail and
home, put it in the chat. Yeah, okay, so that people can go and look at the work that you did while they're listening to me rant on something I shouldn't have to talk about. This is ridiculous. But let's all get the record straight here. So if we'll scroll up a little bit, Ninja, on my radio history, because we're talking about who's really who can put up and who needs to shut up. Okay, but she won't, because she's actually a shill. She's not legitimate. Can you roll up Ninja on my history?
Yeah, there's a delay.
All right, radio history. Come on, a little more. All right, right there. You got it. Okay, so 1992 is when I got into political activism and made my first presentation publicly at a restaurant. I think it was Shoney's in Houston. 1992-95, founder of Council for the National Interests, aka CNI. That Council for the National Interest, a civic-minded organization that resulted in my public speaking and being a guest on numerous radio stations around the country. I also brought Australian and Canadian political concerns on air with my own organization while we were live broadcasting worldwide on international shortwave and other radio, showing that all the things that were happening in Canada, Australia, South Africa, all in the primary Christian nations of our world, all the same plan, the one world plan. Banking took over 33, Australia, Canada, everything. It's all by design. It's a boilerplate, and we proved that out. And so CNI, Council for the National Interest, was basically the antithesis of the Council on Foreign Relations, where they were trying to destroy our world, and run us into the ground with international Zionism and world war after war. And also, like, at the end of the year, the media all got together at the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, with their children and had a meeting called The Interaction of TV News and Foreign Policy. Get it? The interaction of TV news with foreign policy. So if you look in the back of the Encyclopedia Britannica, you'll find out that the Council on Foreign Relations originates and writes all of the blueprint for the one world order, United States order of all that they're going to do. The internationalists, they write, the Council on Foreign Relations is right. In other words, it's not the government of Washington D.C. As Leslie Gelb said himself, it really doesn't matter whether we get a Republican or a Democrat in there, because they're all members of the Council on Foreign Relations. And at the end of the year, the media. Right? The media, the interaction of TV news and foreign policy, it is the shell game on you and me. So that's what I was exposing back last century, ladies and gentlemen. 1996, 1998, I founded United Truckers Defending the Constitution, UTDC, a civic-minded organization that and by the way, UTDC also stands for Under Threat, Duress, and Coercion. How perfect an anagram that represents the organization and what's happening to us today. A civic-minded organization that resulted in my being a guest on numerous radio stations around the country. I was then offered my own international radio program, which became the flagship for my organization, called America's Driving Force, ADF, every Sunday. I did it from payphones on the side of the road, from truck stops, and if I was lucky, I could get a motel room. But I did it in all different environments, and and it was a great opportunity to survey people all over America. People running for presidents like Charles Collins. I went down to his 5 million acre estate and took him out for barbecue and interviewed him. He was one of the independent candidates for president. I interviewed Jack McLam in a pancake house there in Phoenix. Found out he was a double agent. Once I found out he wasn't going to put United Truckers on radio, well, gee whiz, we were promoting police against the New World Order and giving out police kits with our truck drivers, and you're not going to promote us. Well, that's when the light bulb went on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we learn as we go. It was a wonderful opportunity for me to learn how this world really operates and how the secret societies operate. I hosted this 1-hour program, ADF, every Sunday from various parts of the country, while interviewing various other law researchers and authors. Broadcast by Marinet Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, also by international shortwave and on Galaxy satellites, which allowed various AM and FM stations to simulcast and pick it up live. Let's go to the next section, Ninja, and want to welcome any new listeners here. You're listening to The Anatomy of a Zionist Shill, all under the cloak of religion and Christianity, talking about the BARB. The BARB that wants to stick it to us out of Tucson, Arizona, BARB A. Okay, we're not going to give her the credit of giving her channel because what she has done behind the scenes is to basically canvass the people that have been listening into our broadcast and then telling them that we don't know anything we're talking about, that she's got it all, and therefore I'm a deceiver, therefore, you need to listen to her. But yet, the first thing, and we're going to tell that story. The first reason I would have nothing to do with her was her filthy mouth. I knew something was already wrong with her, but I didn't. It took a while. It took a year, actually. I saw what she did to NinjaCat and how she beat her up and played games with her. And so we have to see things clearly first. And then now we're taking the gloves off because we realized the reason we haven't grown in the last year is because a Zionist shill troll has been manipulating our broadcast and talking about us to people that tune in for the last year. And so continuing here on my qualifications, I assume she'll be putting up her resume on her next broadcast, right? 2001 to 2004, creator of the Following the Lost Phoenician Trail audio series. That's why when I worked at American Rights Litigators with Eddie Kane, who is now doing the rest of his life in prison because he was involved with trying to wake people up as to the illegal operations of the Zionist banking IRS, a foreign agent in America that keeps political dossiers on all Americans. And so Eddie was pointing out that there is no law that you have to pay those taxes, and therefore Eddie got persecuted by the CID, then ultimately kidnapped from Panama by the FBI and railroaded into prison because he was doing a benevolent work. I worked with 100 plus other activists over 20 years. I was friends with Dr. Eugene Schroeder, the people who took tractors to Washington in the 1970s. I worked with the Take Texas movement, the Take Texas Back movement, and the Texas Republic. You know, I wrote the ballad. I wrote the classic all-time song "We're Texans Fighting to Be Free," a 10-minute ballad I wrote for the Texas Republic. You know, and so continuing here. Yeah, and I define, okay, so the Phoenician Trail, Following the Lost Phoenician Trail program series that defined how in our modern time has been influenced by our ancient past. That's where we're getting into the forbidden history. I produced this mini-series while being the guest on various other networks and with other friends who had their own radio programs. In 2001, 2012, a creator of the Forbidden History and the other lost writings. So I actually am the one who coined the term, the Forbidden History, on the internet. The first one, that's in 1997. I put out, I created a 28-page catalog called The Forbidden History, and had all the things I was collecting as a researcher and putting it in there for people to access. But trolls and double agents infiltrated United Truckers, and by the time I printed the first 500 copies of the catalog, it was already over. We were infiltrated and, of course, taken down. That was part MI6, part local flunkies, sort of like BARB, you know, just stupid and idiots like BARB A, you know, who's at Barbie. There's a good name for her, Barbie. She thinks she's a Barbie over there in Tucson, Arizona. So let's scroll up a little bit more now on 2001, 2012 Ninja, okay? And we got to stop those notices coming in. Okay.
I tried.
Can you scroll? All right, scroll up a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a feature that'll do that. Okay.
I know.
And so,
I know.
all
I
right.
clicked on it and it didn't do anything. I've got lots of glitches.
There you
at
go.
the moment.
You went too far. You went too far.
Okay.
Back down.
I'm just waiting for the delay.
All right.
Do I still need to go back down?
Yeah.
Okay. There.
Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
You'll see it in a minute.
All right. All right, right there. Okay, 2001, 2012. Creator of The Forbidden History and Other Lost Writings, a radio program and an audio series. This is my flagship radio production that's being attacked right now. You know, something I've been doing for the better part of my life, of course. I started ancient history at age 14. And then I fell into the forbidden history as a political activist when I realized how the shell game was played with these Zionist shills, you know, and these psychopaths that want to run our world. A radio program and an audio series. This is my flagship radio production, centered around 40 years of study on the ancient past. This was written practically a decade ago, so it's now 50 years. 50 years of research, ladies and gentlemen. Half a century. This is my flagship radio production, centered around 50 years of study on the ancient past, being a collector of lost, forgotten, or stolen ancient documents, and as well as being a translator of the original thought based on the ancient Aramaic, the original Sanskrit. Okay, Sanskrit in India is Pseudo-Sanskrit because they changed the names and places of these things so we never can get the picture and follow the trail back. That's what BARB A doesn't want you to know. She doesn't want you, this is what they didn't want you to know that we tell, right? This is what BARB didn't want you to know that we tell right here, okay? Get it straight. It's what BARB A of Tucson doesn't want you to know because she's a Zionist shill, and that's why she's played her games on us for the last year. And I have a right to defend Ninja. I have a right to tell the story. I have a right to defend myself and my lifetime of work right here. Do you not agree, ladies and gentlemen, that when we're attacked, we have a right to respond? So this is our response today to the Zionist shill, BARB A in Tucson, Arizona. Most all of our history has been distorted and rewritten, and that's why BARB doesn't want you to get this scoop, because she's a Zionist, okay? She's a pseudo-Israeli princess, a wannabe Israeli princess, following the Babylonian Talmud doctrine, you see? You know, because it's the behavior. Behavior is everything. We're going to talk about Christian behavior in a little while as well, okay? We got it all on the table today. So it's the anatomy of a Zionist shill, all under the cloak of religion, and the religion she's hiding under is Christianity, but she follows the tenets of the Babylonian Talmud, okay? And according to her, you're not even people. You're cattle. Okay, and anything she does to you is okay. She wants to herd you and control you, and that's what she's been doing to quite a number of people. It is absolutely astounding what she has gotten away with, but it's game over. The Zionist shill agent is exposed because she exposed herself to us, and so we have an obligation for the truth and to tell our story as to what she has done to us. Okay, dedicated people, sincere people who love the Father above, who love truth, and are being attacked by this Zionist shill, BARB A of Tucson, Arizona. So most all of our history has been distorted and rewritten by what I call the unseen hand. I actually got that term from my good friend Ralph Epperson, who wrote the book The Unseen Hand. I've had dinner and breakfast with Ralph Epperson. Used to interview him on a weekly basis. He's done a number of work. Just do a search for Ralph Epperson and blow your mind. Okay, so Ralph was one of my first friends when I got into this, forbidden history and the political activism. Okay, so continuing here, I prove out by. Let me try this again. Most all of our history has been distorted and rewritten by what I call the unseen hand. By deduction and then ancient evidence, I prove out as example that all UFO phenomena is Earth-based. All UFO phenomena is Earth-based. And that they were created by the ancient Aryan priesthood, also known as the Brahmin. And the word Brahmin is the word sovereign. That's where we get the word sovereign from. A B is a V. Victor, not boy, but Victor. Okay, it's a V. That's how the Zionist shills have worked to control our translations. Barb wants you to read the code book, the Sefer, which means cipher, which is the loose cipher, the true code of the occultic Hebrew, because they are Masoretes that gave us our King James Old Covenant, and Masorite is the original word for Egypt. So they are the Egyptians that are up in Switzerland, the Masoretes, and they gave us the Egyptian text known as the Masoretic text. That's Egyptian text, okay? But she don't want you to know that. She wants you to be a slave to the false narratives and the corruptions of the Masoretic text, which we have already exposed. We've already spelled all that out on dozens of programs on here. We've showed all the lies, all the Zionist manipulation of the Hebrew Yiddish that they've shoved down our throats. They are the gatekeepers, ladies and gentlemen. They control publishing. They control media. They are the gatekeepers. You think they're going to tell you the truth when you know for a fact they've all been lying to you, right? Come on. So all UFO phenomena is Earth-based, and they were created by the ancient Aryan priesthood. All at the same time, they were building pyramids all around the world. Pyramid civilizations. It was the one world Vedic culture. There is no new world order. It is an old world order. It is a one world order from the beginning of the Aryan race. That's the great lie, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want us to know who the Aryan race is, where they come from, because it all goes back to Adam, and then the Watchers don't have wings on their back and are invisible, and they are Aryans, you see. They mated with the redhead spotted children of Cain. In essence, In essence, I tell the true history of mankind as it has never been fully presented. That's a fact. While setting the record straight, there are no aliens in my story other than man. And I was under a squadron of 30 UFOs, by the way, okay? So if you want to know the future, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know your future, what's going down right now, okay, then you better look forward to Forbidden History, what BARB didn't want you to know, that we tell right here, okay? And so 2004, and she's parodying me with that, of course, too, right? Give me a break. Talk about originality, huh? Yeah, she can't even, she don't have no resume, okay? Creator of, but she is good. She does have a master's at BS, though. I should at least mention that she does have a master's at BS, and you know what that means, of course, right? And so 2004, 2011, creator of We Are All Doing Time, the Victim in Prison Outreach Program. And my slogan always was on the broadcast, BARB, you can parrot me if you want, of course. It doesn't matter whether you're on the inside or on the outside, ladies and gentlemen, because we're all doing time. And for some of us, it's hard time, and we're never going to get over the pain. We're just going to have to learn how to deal with people like BARB, who want to continue to put their BARB in. Scroll up, Linja, the next part, page 2, okay? And want to welcome any new listeners out there. And if you're hearing this for the first time, you're probably hearing nothing like this ever before, the things that we talk about, because we pierce the veil, okay? It's the grace of the Heavenly Father. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. There you go, Ninja. Way to go. It's the grace of the Father. He had to give somebody the download, and I was just willing to be the political activist, willing to do homeschooling, willing to do home church, willing to collect 60 different versions of the Bible, willing to buy books left and right, end up with 2,000 books on the shelf, and living is easy with eyes closed, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Living is easy with eyes closed. Ladies and gentlemen, and the trolls, many of you who are listening in to this broadcast, living is easy with your eyes closed, isn't it? But you need to open your eyes. You can fool some of the people, Barb, some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. A lie will race around the world while the truth is slowly putting on its shoes. It took us a year. We saw your insanity. We saw your phoniness. We heard your filthy mouth. It just took a while to really know that you were a Zionist shill. That was the hardest thing to figure out, because you are good. I will give you that much credit. You're a pretty good phony, You're pretty good. And so, but we felt the pain. Ninja felt the pain a year ago when you attacked her and played games with her and stalked her on the internet. But then finally the light bulb does go on. And so, when you are being attacked, you are doing the right thing. And you also know who the enemy is, ladies and gentlemen. When you are being attacked, you know it is by a shill, okay? Because we don't attack anybody. We are peaceful. We're told to love our enemies. And what other people do out there is their business. I mind my business. I'm happy to have my job. And everybody else, like Barb, has their job. And their job is to disrupt, to infiltrate, to destroy, and to attack, and then to parrot. Then they begin to parrot you. Quack, 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 quack. I sound like Desert-Owl, look like Desert-Owl, don't I? Yeah, after I kicked his butt. Yeah, give me a break, okay? Words that kill. That's how they do it. You see, it begins with words, ladies and gentlemen. It begins with words, and then it ends with words. So we're ending it today with the words of what happened to us by this piece of garbage. Okay, that literally, if she could have gotten away with murder, she would, because that's really what she did. You see, she was committing a criminal act against Ninja when she was stalking her, and when she was creating more pain and suffering, because she's already a targeted individual under electronic attack, under gang stalking, and has been going through this for a long time. And then to be stalked by Barb wherever she went, and Barb saying nasty things to her. And then so Ninja didn't even want to go on the internet, Well, that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. Okay. That doesn't sound very Christian to me. It sounds more like the Babylonian Talmud, doesn't it? Okay. So words do kill, ladies and gentlemen. And so we are actually the victims of criminal activity, because if somebody harms you physically, if somebody harms you mentally and somebody destroys your work and your property, then and also your ability to survive, then that is a criminal act. Okay, it's criminal. It's soft. Maybe it's softer than going out and getting the gun and just shooting you, but nonetheless, it is an attempt at a type of murder. Okay, to kill somebody. So they're done. They may want to even go take their own life because the pain is so great after they've had everything that they worked for all their life taken away from them. Right? Some people do that. That happened to the guy who invented the FM radio. Sarnoff of Westinghouse, wasn't it? Took the inventor of the FM radio, took his technology from him. That guy eventually jumped out of a 10-story window. Okay, he was in a 10-year court battle, gave up, jumped out of a window. So we're in a battle right now. It's called the battle for the mind. And who are you gonna, you're gonna listen to this Barbie, who thinks she's so important and so special, but she can talk about everybody else and sneak behind, and she did it to, we're going to show you how she sneaked behind Mew Mew, another lady that's a victim of much intrigue today, and then to get beaten up as well, and so we're going to put it all on the table today because we want to be done with it. We want to get the record, be on the record for what BARB has done. Did you get your resume up there yet, BARB? Let's continue my resume, okay? Because I was talking about the program We Are All Doing Time, and where we went to help those who were going into prison and falling victim. We let people tell their stories. We tried to direct them to where they could get help, not get persecuted, by people like BARB, but actually to go get help. We had friends that were students of the law. We had other people that were also victims that came to the victims' aids to, comfort them and to let them know what they learned through their experiences. So this, We Are All Doing Time, it's a vital program that had been dedicated to bringing forward the public awareness and revealing the plight behind the many injustices, the blatant wrongs, and the brutal torture that is occurring within the U.S. today, including the mass incarceration of many tens of thousands of innocent people. This forum gave families the platform to tell their stories and the prisoners an opportunity to have their letters read over the air. This program led to the spin-off of other related victim and law-related programs hosted by many others that I also produced. I produced, like I said, near 100 programs over longer than a 6-year period, but my network, therealpublicradio.net, you can go look at it now. It's a radio museum because it was taken down by half a dozen shills, 3 guys, 3 women. I know who they were. They teamed up, a couple of them team up together. They come at you both from both ends, and your head is spinning. You're wondering what happened, when did it happen, and why did it happen, and after I actually stayed in bed for a whole month once. It was like the month of August when I was still in Florida. After they took me for several $1,000s, that I had earned more in marketing than I ever did before in 1 month, about $3,000, and they literally stole it from me, and then defamed my character on top of it, defamed my character, so I literally every day for a month got out of bed, made my bed, and then I laid on top of it for a whole day, and I did that for a month. I was so depressed, and from what the attacks of others had done, the infiltration, the games that they played, that I felt like it was over. When you work so hard from your very last resource, everything you got to create something to help other people, to be a positive influence in this world, and then the scum of the earth like BARB come along and they do everything to destroy you. That's their game, you see? Oh, but then they're going to, read scripture. Oh, Jesus loves you. You know that. Mwah, 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 mwah. Yeah, give me a break. Puke, okay? Puke, BARB. That's what you are. You are puke, okay? Let's scroll up a little bit, Ninja. 2004, 2012. Creator of the Ultimate Health Breakthrough. Yeah, I even do health programs, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, I don't believe anything, of course. But as a health researcher, you're doing it. There you go, Ninja. Thank you. As a health researcher, a student of internal and external exercises. I freed myself from doctors in my early 20s because they were killing me with overdoses, ladies and gentlemen, of antibiotics. I had upper respiratory infections, and they weren't going to help me. So I actually cured myself from doctors and from asthma and therefore I became expert in manipulating the body, and also in regeneration, food regeneration. So I literally am free today, and in pretty good shape compared to where I was when I was in my 20s. And they weren't helping me; they were hurting me. So I had to learn the science of allopathy versus naturopathy and all that. And so, as a health researcher, a student of internal and external exercises with the use of natural substances such as Chinese herbs, along with the philosophy of regeneration, it was a natural that I would produce a health-related program where I interviewed all experts and authors, such as Dr. Earl Mendel, who wrote the Vitamin Bible and also brought Goji to America and standardized it, who wrote I'm repeating myself now, who wrote the Vitamin Bible and the all-time bestseller. I wrote a song for the discovery of the miracle Himalayan goji berry. I'll play it for you one day. I was also a musician, wrote about 50 songs, and was a street singer in Vegas for one summer, and then played in a club on the weekend. Then I saw that talent out there and knew I wasn't going anywhere. So I went back to hitting the books, which was actually more important anyway. I was also always researching and looking for that ultimate product that was better than anything else, and worked beyond anything that we could ever imagine. I'm still researching that today, and anybody that's suffering, give me a call, okay? I'll give you a few tips on what you might want to take. And I worked beyond anything that we could, which I missed my place here, which I have now actually found in a product that's called Jasuru. Today it's called what's it called? Anyway, it's liquid collagen, liquid biocell collagen. It's not Jasuru anymore. They Monavi, not Monavi. It's I can't remember the name of it now. But if you need it, call me on the side. And Jasuru means to live in Japanese and to be healthy. And I produced the Master Force website for its promotion. That's down today. The One Capital Solution is down today. Little by little, the double troubles keep whittling on you, and eventually, you lose this, you lose that, and you don't have money to renew, your domains or anything else. It's all happened, of course, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also persecuted here in town by the Masons, of course. They've tried, give me death threats and tried to run me over, and they spy on me at Walmart and at the dollar store and all that. It's a small town, and they run the town, go figure. They've used other companies like, the water company to commit fraud against me, on double billing me. And I could go on. Okay. But it's real. The persecution is ongoing. Okay. And then I got pieces of garbage like BARB, biting at my heel at the same time and biting at Ninja's heel, while they're pretending to everybody else, oh, BARB. What our offense was, of course, and you'll find out in a little while, that we wouldn't bow down in homage her. We could see her phony nature right out the gate because we've been touched, and we couldn't be with a phony like that. And so since we didn't bow down and kiss her feet and pay her homage, then immediately the attacks began, ladies and gentlemen. We never said an unkind word to her, never talked about her, nothing. Thought it was a casual friend, actually. That's what we thought. Found out otherwise, of course. That's when you know who the shill is when you're being attacked. Okay, so 2006, 2012, bump it up, Ninja, please. Founder, creator, and producer of Free America Radio Network, the acronym being FARNet, and the other domain for that was therealpublicradio.net. Primetime broadcasting, that's 6 p.m. till midnight, 7 days a week I did, okay, for 6 years with my broadcast network, the realpublicradio.net. I did replays from midnight till 6 a.m. in the morning, 12 hours a day on the air, 7 days a week. My prime objective in producing FARNet was to produce a forum that would be made available to the many grassroots and law and American history researchers that have been desperately trying to find solutions and expose the many wrongs that are going on in America today. Because internet streaming is so affordable, it was my intent to create a free access channel to those who may not have access to any other form of radio medium. So bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, I never charged for the programs that I produced for my hosts. I never charged. It was free access. I created a free access channel. That's why I never had an automobile. It wasn't in the budget. I served for free. Okay, I served people. I didn't attack people. I served people. I served victims. I gave everything I had to serving my fellow man as the Heavenly Father of Light has shown me to do. Okay, I took nothing. Um, if someone made a donation, that is how we survived. We could pay the rent. We had a roof over the head. It was a gas station. In Florida, it was a 1930s gas station, an old Texaco station I was remodeling because my friends owned the property and I could do that. But and I still paid rent. I still paid rent there, you know. It was a good deal for a rundown, you know, dilapidated place, but it was my attempt to be able to serve my community and to be there for them and not to criticize others, not to talk about others, but to talk about the issues. That's what I talk about. I talk about issues, right? But somebody else likes to talk about other people because then you can discredit. Remember, if you destroy the messenger, you destroy the message, right? You destroy the message. So destroy the messenger and forget about what the message is. Forget about that. You know, there was even an attorney out there that played the game so well, you know, attacking people verbally, never talking about the issue. That was B Craft. His name was B Craft. Last name Craft. Go figure. Sounds very crafty. Sounds like Freemasonry, right? That's right. He was very crafty, and so he would you know, denigrate other people, call them names, but never say what they were talking about and what the other argument was, because he couldn't do that because he was an attorney. Of course, he's a part of the beast system anyway, right? Go figure, right? But he's in the craft too at the same time. So continuing on here, beyond the free access that I gave to other people because they had stories to tell, they had a heart that wanted to talk. I gave them a voice. Finally, at one point, I was producing 7 days a week of law programming, which was my goal. So I was trying to figure it out. What is a common law, a commercial law, a statutory law, you know, constitutional law, which, you know, I was trying to figure out. So I brought on the experts so I could learn, and maybe I would, you know, figure out what was the answer. But, you know, when you're dealing with a psychopathic world, a world of fraud and deception and of Zionist shills, well, there is no law. That's what we ultimately learn. There is no law. You see, they work under public policy. The Jewish banking works under public policy. And so as long as they can keep the peace, keep the illusion alive, then everything's good. Commercial commerce is going good. You know, business is good. Everybody, they're getting wealthy. We're getting poor. You know, then they're happy. You see, so that's how they do it. So finally, at one point, I was producing 7-day week of law programming, which was my goal. And I had experts on every possible area of law, such as Jack and Margie Flynn, Citizens of the American Constitution.org, my good friends. They're absolute geniuses. They're the mavericks in America. Jack and Margie Flynn, the ultimate mavericks. Go to Citizens of the American Constitution. I don't know if .org is good anymore. Maybe .info, .net. Check them out. But they had somebody, another troll, steal their website as well. Right? They were infiltrated, and so it happens to all of us. Of course, that's the nature of the beast, and being in these waters with sharks in them, ladies and gentlemen. My good friend Neil Price, I produced the courtroom commander for him. He also lost his bar card because he was exposing corrupt attorneys, corrupt prosecutors, or corrupt judges. So he volunteers to help people today. He works on donation. He's living near poverty, and he's a genius. He didn't even have to take the second bar exam. They didn't want him to because they knew he'd figure something out. He got the best score ever on the first round of the bar exam. And the number one criminal, and he is the number one criminal defense attorney in Pennsylvania, who was his paralegal, his own investigator. He did it all. Neil Price, good friend, who lost his bar card when he started exposing the corrupt judges and prosecutors. I produced programming in Ireland, Australia, Canada, South Africa, Scotland, and England. And bump it up, Ninja, please. I did worldwide broadcasting. I brought on people from all over the world. Out of South Africa, it was Simon Prophet. Simon Prophet, they took his home from him, committed fraud against him. A little more, Ninja, come on up. That last paragraph, having my own radio network. Okay, having my own radio network also allowed me the freedom to experiment with my own ideas and to perfect my own style of presentation and approach to those things that are important to me in what I wanted to convey to my own listeners. Okay, and by the way, Simon Prophet, a fine gentleman, he was, I think, a scientist of sorts. He invented something, and the establishment stole it from him. And then in the court battles, he lost his house, he lost everything, you know. But Simon Prophet, I enjoyed having him as a friend in South Africa, and we've made other friends in different parts of the world as well. In Ireland, England, Scotland, you name it, all over. So here's some examples of the other programs that I produce, just a little bit. You can go to the network and look at the program schedule, okay, and right there in the middle, and you'll see all the programs I've done, and there's more. That's not all of them. The original Gospel of Jesus Christ with yours truly, Desert-Owl. In circa 2003, I made a major lost writing discovery in this original Gospel, and thus I have been reviewing it and reading it on air for the past 10 years now. Okay, so the original Gospel, that is AKA the Aquarian Gospel. You see, it's they put a phony name on it so nobody think it was valuable, called the Aquarian Gospel. It's also on our network. You can find it there. Go to Desert's Classics, and then on the lower tabs, the fifth or sixth lower line of tabs, click on Original Gospel. I think it says Original Gospel. Go get the PDF download, okay? Blow your mind. Free copy. And enjoy. It's amazing what they've stolen from us, ladies and gentlemen. What I've been revealing, it's what they didn't want you to know, of course. What BARB didn't want you to know either, that we tell right here. Yeah, BARB's hoping we would just gone away and that she could take us down and she wouldn't hear from us anymore, and she could have benefited from all of our listeners that she embraced. Using embracery, that's a legal term, meaning like you're embracing the jury. You're getting them all to follow you. Oh, yeah, Desert's stupid. Desert's out there, in La La Land. He don't know what he's talking about. He's got a funny name. He must be stupid. Of course, right? Oh, give me a break. Let me take a sip. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know anything. I've done nothing. I have no track record. I've got nothing I could boast about if I wanted to, right? Okay. The Courtroom Commander with Neil Price. That's another program I did. Objective approaches to various legal dilemmas in the courtroom. Then Free Leonard Peltier. I gave 2 programs to the Native American people. Leonard Peltier is the longest running political prisoner in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Even after 30 years, they let life terms go free. But even after 30 years, they kept Leonard in prison, and they beat him up. Even at the end of that time, they beat him up physically, And thank you. That collagen was called Modere. Thank you, Yosheli. And so I worked with the family of Leonard Peltier up there on the Indian reservation. Remember that goes back to Wounded Knee, the story of Wounded Knee. And so I helped those people, gave them a free broadcast, and brought their friends on, his friends on, the other Native peoples, and hosted for them. Okay. I also did a program called the Wisdom of the Native Americans, setting the record straight, because we think America's our nation. Well, yeah, we were the ones who committed genocide against the Native people, and that's good. That's God's country. Right? Oh, give me a break, right? No, I think it's the Vatican rule, Jesuit order under the guise of banking and Freemasonry as well, and the Zionists, of course. And so they commit genocide on everyone. If they killed all them, you think they're not going to kill you too? Of course they are. That's what they're doing right now, right? Up in the skies, in the food, in the water, on the television, every way they could think about it, they're coming at you, ladies and gentlemen. The 5G, right? So Leonard Peltier, the most famous prisoner in the world who was totally innocent. Please scroll, Ninja, next part. Further examples of programs I have produced. Isn't this fun, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't this fun? We can waste our time doing this stuff when we were talking about the most important things that nobody else was talking about. We've defined, if you go to the Cosmic Essence right now, go to the Cosmic Essence. Thank you, Ninja. Perfect. If you go to the Cosmic Essence, then let's get that back in the chat again. Put the link in there one more time, please. And then go and look what Ninja has done. I could have produced it myself, the Cosmic Essence, but because Ninja is being persecuted on every which way she turns, I wanted to give her an opportunity. I said, Ninja, you produce, the Cosmic Essence. You clip all of our broadcasts and just put the clipped substance without the 3-hour production on all different variable topics. Then we'll get, and we can monetize this account or get donations. I'll give you half. Okay, we'll split it. You do the work. I produce. Right, you produce, I produce. We'll split that for the ministry, and you get half. And so that's what we were doing. But then we found out that the reason we weren't growing is because Barb A of Tucson, Arizona, a Zionist shill, was actually working behind the scenes all along, to destroy our honest labor, serving the Father above. I feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for her, ladies and gentlemen, in more ways than one, because when the Father gets done with her, she'll be minced meat, because she thinks she's getting over on Yeshua in her pretense of Christianity. You pretend Christianity, that's the biggest hypocrite there ever was, and you're about, you'll see what happens. She won't be around much longer. Her day, her judgment is here. It's not coming. It's here right now, okay? The giantess shill has been exposed right here because we have a right to mention what has happened to us. We are the victims of her sting operation, her BARB that she put into us, and that has been hurting all along. The wisdom of the Native Americans, setting the record straight, readings of the ancient wisdom with select music from yours truly, Dezert-Owl. I was also on Navajo Radio up in Montreal. I was on, or was it Toronto? I can't remember anymore, but I was on other networks as well. Then the Ultimate Computer Tutor. I wanted to serve people to help fix their computers. And today I can't even help myself, to fix computers, let alone have an automobile. And then we're being sabotaged at the same time. But I actually produced an online program. We had a webinar, and we with the Ultimate Computer Tutor, and hosted by Dave the Patriot and yours truly. And we did live repair on the monitor, live repair of your computer while listeners could watch via the webinar and learn. So we did tutorials. Then I did the Inside View from Canada with my good friend Don Mobius, another technical genius. And then did a program of all things. Of course, that's what we do every day when we get on the broadcast, when we're not interrupted like this by Zionist shills, but words that kill, symbolism and the movies. I hosted by yours truly an esoteric expose on the occult nature of our world. And additionally, please go to therealpublicradio.net and see the program schedule, now retired, for some of the additional programs that I have produced there. And saving children from these psychopaths and exposing CPS was one of my biggest deals, and that's why I'm being persecuted today, ladies and gentlemen, because I was helping to try to save the babies from ritual sacrifice and kidnapping and sexual abuse. I exposed it. I got it on statewide television, radio, and newspaper all in one day in Texas. The entire state said headhunters make big money finding children victim for CPS. I exposed it. And ultimately a guy who called himself Black Michael came onto our programming 5 different times with his voice masked. And he said he was a headhunter. And he was in remorse. And when it hit him between the eyes was when one of his partners had congratulated him on his 22,000 children. 22,000 children that he was now responsible for kidnapping from good homes. And when he heard that, he couldn't believe it. In 20 years, he had arranged the kidnapping of 22,000 children. He had 5 mansions. He had 20 automobiles. And he had made about a $250 million. $250 million being a headhunter. And so we exposed this on statewide. I went to the television stations, to the newspapers, and I went everywhere, and none of them would take it because they knew this was too big. They knew this was bigger, but then somehow they all talked on the side, and then all of a sudden one day, boom, about a week later, it was on statewide media, all of them. I did that, not bragging, just fact, because I want you to know what this Zionist shill would like to take down. She'd like to take down my energy. She'd like to take down my lifetime of work. She'd like to take down my credibility. She'd like to put words in my mouth. She'd like to steal my words and parrot my words. You see? And so you're getting the verbal resume here today. I've never done this before, never needed to, but sometimes we just need to shift gears for a moment because there are very wicked people out there who work overtime. They go to bed at night wondering how they can screw somebody tomorrow. They can't sleep without figuring out how they can do it to somebody. That's their job. Then they get their grand reward in Lucifer land, whatever that is, in their Babylonian Talmud. I guess they get some cookies, or they get some money, or they get some other special privilege. Maybe they get a badge, for destroying other people's lives and being scum of the earth. It must be quite a deal. I cannot imagine being one of them, you know? Can't imagine it. When I've dedicated my life to serving my fellow man, to loving my brother and my sister, loving my enemy, to forgiving those who do me wrong, and we have forgiven you publicly on the public notice, Barb, didn't we? But we still have a right to expose and to express what you have done to us so that others won't fall victim to you. We have to warn people. This is a warning against a shill that is out there to do damage. She's the best. She is the best, but she has been exposed. She exposed herself to us. We have an obligation to speak the truth, and we're coming on with it right now. This is part 2. We did part 1 on Monday, and this is part 2. And so additionally, go to therealpublicradio.net and see our program schedule, ladies and gentlemen, for our other programs. I'm also author of The Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary. You can scroll up to the top of that now, Ninja. Author of The Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, a culmination of my life's work, my first attempt at a dictionary, a work of research and needed for my translation project. Now 300 pages, 8.5 by 11. I did it in 2011. It's 8.5 by 11 format and ready for publication. And see the sample at therealpublicradio.net, urgent.html. You can get the full version through NinjaCat if you want to make her, since she's a victim, and we're trying to raise money for her so she can relocate to a safe haven. I want you to order it through Ninja. Contact her, send her a donation, okay? And if you don't have the funny money, we'll get it to you anyway, ladies and gentlemen. We're not here to rake in big bucks, because that doesn't happen here. You get persecuted. What you get for doing this kind of work is persecution. You get criticism. You get attacked. You have it all happen to you. If you're not dead, you're still lucky, because I've had near a dozen attempts in my life, including threats and everything else. Okay, and I'm sure they're still working on it, and that's okay, because the Father of Light has protected me, because I have been serving Him in truth. Okay, and all the evidence is here that I serve Him in spite of myself, even though I'm not worthy of the great gifts that He has given me, which is the treasure in heaven, and that's knowledge of who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are. Author of The Real Da Vinci Code. Go check it out, okay? Blow your mind. I paid my dues, ladies and gentlemen. My current and final project, this is my prime objective and what I am destined to fully accomplish, which is the most important translation of the New Testament within our modern time that BARB wants to destroy. She wants to put that BARB in us and kill us. And yet this is the most important, the original thought in diction, all based on the original thought within the original Aramaic diction, which is all based upon the pericope within the words. That's the word periscope, because it allows you to see when you know how the Aishavors work. Word, metaphor, symbol, or the images that are found within the parabolic nature, okay? Now it's also correctly called the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. I didn't have that on my resume. I was still learning. I still learn. I don't know it all. Barb thinks she does, but I'm still learning. I learn as I speak with my wonderful friends who come to our broadcast. I continually learn as we have the discussion. Ninja sees something I didn't see, and and puts me to shame. It's like, wow, how come I didn't see that, Ninja? And then Shelly's doing it. Lynn always puts the answer on the board before I can even spill the beans. She upstarts me, because all of you are free thinkers. You all are getting it, and you're excited about having the shell game, the cloak of the deception removed. That we found out that they wanted us to be stuck in Hebrew and Greek, when it was really what was breathed into Adam, the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. It's all an open secret, ladies and gentlemen, but somebody's trying to take us down right now. And so we need your support. Do tell your friends about our broadcast. Go to the Cosmic Essence and look at the work Ninja did. Okay, we're doing this collectively together because we all love truth. We all love the Father above. We don't get paid for it. We give it from our soul. Okay, we give everything we have, and then Barb comes along to take the rest away from us and to sabotage us, to stab us in the back. Okay, so my final project. And then Kipling said, "East is east and west is west, and never the twain will meet." And well, now guess what? That's no longer true, Kipling. Sorry, because Dezert-Owl brings east and west together. What they didn't want you to know, that we tell right here. And let's go up. I have a major, Ninja, I have a major historical discovery. I am the discoverer of the lost words of John the Baptist that are found hiding deep within several unaccounted for and intentionally mistranslated texts. Okay, let me take a sip here. My previous history, just a sample. Okay, it's not all of it. A home builder, cabinet maker, general contractor, construction superintendent for Jim Walter Homes. I could build a house single-handedly, ladies and gentlemen, from ground to top. Okay, I do it in my sleep. A guitarist, songwriter, street singer in Las Vegas, a homeschooler, a commercial over-the-road commercial operator, truck driver in chemical transport, hazardous materials. I actually was responsible on the highway. Okay, actually, yeah, they actually trusted me to drive on the highways with sulfuric acid and methanol and caustic and all of the phenol, all of these bad. They trusted me on the road. Can you imagine they would trust me to drive an 18-wheeler on the road? But they did. Yeah, actually, So I guess I was a little more responsible than BARB wants to make me out to be, I actually could think for myself and get home safe in time. And actually, with all this hazardous material, find out where I was going in the journey at the same time, when even my company didn't give me the address. So anyway, continuing here. We got to poke a little fun, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, it's pretty sick what's going on. They killed our world. They've taken us down, right? They destroyed our upper atmosphere, and then we got BARB also wanting to finish those who are trying to reveal all this stuff, right? Isn't that rather interesting that she would work overtime to destroy this type of work? I mean, what kind of individual would work overtime to destroy this type of work that I'm presenting to you today? What kind? A Zionist shill? Piece of garbage? I think so. And so 35 year, so I was a 35-year student of marketing. That of course gave me a lot of my creative talent that you see that I do today, ladies and gentlemen. My talent, word processing, organizing. As a musician, it went into helping me with broadcasting, doing timing, and all these things. I was scared, unbelievable at that first public meeting I had to speak at. I thought for sure I was going to pee my pants when I stood up, being the fifth speaker, and I had to go become sixth speaker so I could get into the restroom and talk to myself in the mirror, because I was a total introvert. I couldn't talk in a crowd. I'd be in a crowd and I wasn't talking to anybody, but the Father brought me out of my shell, brought me out so that I could do this work. I had to overcome the self, overcome the fear, that pervades all of us at times when we're, confronted with doing public speaking and all that, right? But I had knowledge. I had a mission, and so I had to overcome that fear, because it wasn't about me. It was about my daughter. It was about my neighbor, my friends, my other family. The people I cared about. I never attacked anybody ever, other than exposing those who are attacking us and trying to destroy our lives and our work and our efforts. Pain and discomfort that we receive through this nonsense that is played by the Zionist shill BARB A of Tucson and others. Okay, the other ones are just lightweights, but she turned out to be pretty darn good. I'll give her that much. But I wasn't fooled by her. I was disgusted whenever I heard her speak, but I just walked away and minded my own business. I didn't know she was working behind the scene. Manipulating my programming and talking to my associates and bringing them over to her channel and prejudicing them against me and all this stuff. I had no idea. I didn't care. I was too busy doing my job. But then it all came to light. By the other witnesses that we have, and now we know it's game over. The Zionist shill is exposed, and so continuing here. So marketing, also nutritional products was one of the things I did. And with networking companies in the 1980s, an American rights litigator and former political activist with Eddie Kane. I was there, when American rights went down. I was there for a year, and it was so sad to see this great happening, be taken down by the IRS. With 20 years of radio interviews, and also on Easter evening, just a little footnote on going south of Memphis after I did my radio program in Jackson, Mississippi. I went towards Memphis, went on the loop, went south into Mississippi, and ended up under a squadron right as the sun went down, and they're coming north, I'm going south. I ended up under a squadron of 30 UFOs, but of course I identified them the next day buried underground, and then found out where they were based underground in Jackson, Mississippi the next day, thanks to a few tips by my retired intelligence officer friend who was also voice of mission control for 2 years, okay, and was friends of the Apollo 5 astronauts who were burned alive, and and told me that they were murdered. Basically, they put a pure oxygen blanket on top of them, and they arranged it so that when they flicked a switch, there'd be a spark, and boom, they burned alive because they were going to go public about the tin can program of Apollo. And in fact, on that very day they were burned alive, it was a Grissom who took a lemon and put it right on top of the Apollo 5 capsule just as he went inside to meet his doom. Okay, so that's the story behind the story most people don't know, but just remember you got it here first. And while Barb parrots me now on that, that's rather sickening, but you heard about Barb here first. Don't you forget that. And don't you forget what this giant Zionist shill has been doing to people. And we're not even done yet. I'm just doing my resume here, and I want you to know I've paid my dues. I want you to know I have a qualified view. I want you to know I'm no lightweight, okay? I mean, I've survived so much. And while I saw all the other great patriots around the country go down, go to prison, be killed on the side of the road, shot by a bad cop, all the games that have been played that like the people of BARB do, that, they're not with us today. I've stood the test of time because I have a mission from the Father above with scriptures, okay? Because I'm a translator. I'm an expert on symbolism. I make the connections that nobody else makes, and therefore I'm useful to the Father above. And the Zionist Talmudist doesn't like that very much, so she's working overtime to shut me up, to stop me from being able to have a voice, and to put Ninja out in the street, or maybe force her to want to go get a rope. I don't have those feelings anymore. I lived about 15 years with wanting to go get a rope. I don't want to get one anymore because you folks gave me purpose. When I had nobody to talk to a year and a half ago, I wanted to get the rope. I thought about the rope every day, because when you know all that I know and you've got nobody to talk to, nobody want no phone calls. The one friend you got in town never comes by to visit you, and you came here specifically, to be near somebody. And, yeah, you think about the rope because your life seems a little worthless. Seems like you're out to pasture. Nobody cares. You dedicated a life to learning something. And then all these people on YouTube, they're so busy reinventing the wheel and thinking they figured it all out when they haven't. They don't think somebody at 64 years old, a veteran like me, might actually know something, And so they want to reinvent the wheel. They want to talk about the non-important issues. They love being first at it, right? Like Barb. And telling you heard it there first, right? When she stole my line, right? Yeah, that piece of garbage, So my up and coming book, Pontius Pilate in Rome Did Not Kill Jesus. That's because Pilate got a bad rap too. The Pilate gets blamed when it was really the Babylonian Talmudists. Yeah, the Talmudists were back then because the new temple construction, the priesthood that came back from Babylon in 430 BC brought back the Babylonian Talmud with them, as well as what they call the 5 books of Moses, falsely called Torah, which means the bull and means death, and it's not the Torah. They got you to parrot them, you see, and those are the things we talk about as well. But so I tell the real story. I'll try to do that maybe on Sunday, since we're talking about it now. Maybe I'll just tell the story why and how Pilate didn't, kill Yeshua, and how they were good friends, actually. Professional friends, not close friends from that standpoint, but respectful. Pilate loved Yeshua, protected him for 3 years because he never talked bad about Rome, and he had his own spies checking him out. And that's part of what's in the original gospel, aka the Aquarian gospel. If you haven't read it, you don't know what you're missing. But I also connect the story with the books that came out of Tibet. We have 2 different gospels that came out of Tibet, which also are part of the story, because it's all been fragmented, and we can put the pieces of the puzzle together. You won't get it anywhere else, okay? You won't get it with Barb, and you won't get it with anywhere else. And you won't get it here if you let her get away with what she's doing. You won't hear it here either, because we're telling it like it is. We're putting the pieces back together of the ancient past, and like nobody else, and they're trying to take us down. That's bottom line. Okay, so for your information, Desert Owl is a spiritual metaphor and was given to me by the graces of the great Heavenly Father above. by virtue of my becoming an adept, a translator, and so on. All of my friends know me and call me by my first name, Desert, and you can do the same, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. A reporter at large. The truth is stranger than fiction. Scroll further now, Ninja, my next page, and my references are there. And then we'll stop. Well, Ninja, where are you?
I'm here. I muted out so that I wouldn't interrupt.
Words, yeah, words are the DNA of life, ladies and gentlemen. I finally figured that out. Words are the DNA of life. Okay.
Do you want your face on YouTube?
Well, yeah, pull it up.
Yeah.
Pull up to the next page now. There's my references. Go stop at references. I want people to see my references. Go ahead. Okay. A little further. Scroll up. Right there. Okay, we'll bump up in a second. So my references, John Bryant was a good friend and a former radio host. I've lost touch with John now. I don't know where he is. And Frederick Earl, who also was on public radio up there in Paradise, California. Paradise. His house was burnt down. He died. Rest in peace, Fred. He died just before the Paradise fires. His wife was made homeless. In the fires, all of my friends up there in Paradise, except I think for one, just one, lost all their homes. All of them lost their homes up there by the grand conspiracy that is coming down on all of us, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. Scroll up now, Ninja. Let's see my mug, my professional United Truckers defending the Constitution. I had a secret agent camera, a small 35 millimeter, and I stuck it out the window. Scroll it up. Come on. Don't hide my chin. All right, there you go, right there. And so I just got done loading. No, bump it down. You went too high. Bump it down backward. You had it perfect. Why did you bump it with your knee? All right.
You'll see it in a second.
We got it. All right. So what happened was I just got done loading. Thank you. You're good. I just got done. And I said, I think I'll take a self-portrait. And I stuck my left arm out the window, pointed it back at me, and clicked it. And that was the one shot. First time out the gate, self-portrait. And it was perfect. So that became my promo shot of United Truckers defending the Constitution. I wasn't looking too bad back then, was I, Ninja? Huh?
Looking pretty good, Desert.
Looking pretty good.
Love those
feeling
shades.
my oats today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I needed to shave, it looks like. But anyway, so there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, you got my story now, the short version of it. I could tell you stories in my story that, would take hours, especially my big persecution in West Virginia, the Heavenly Father delivered me from, all because I had to have experience. People are talkers. They read a book and they think they're an authority because they read a book. I have experience. I've been there. I've done that. Okay, all of my life. That's what the Father has done with me. He's used me. He's put me through the fire. And I have forgiven all of the wicked that have done all their wicked things to me, including BARB A of Tucson. I forgive you, but I still have to set the record straight for all the people that you prejudiced and that you have little by little pulled away from us and brought over to your stupid channel of deception and of narcissism and of the Babylonian Talmudic lie that they're supposed to embrace Hebrew, the Sefer, the code, the cipher, Lucifer, Sefer, the book. Sefer is book and it's Lucifer, and Sefer is code. They're telling you that the Hebrew is a code, that they did it that way. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen, footnote, and then we're going to go to a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about Ninja coming up next, what happened to her. But, remember this, that in the time of Yeshua, all of his followers, other than Matthew, John, and James, Matthew is Methuselah. That means at the end of time, the healing root comes, and that's why Matthew did the Hebrew Gospel of Matthew, which I got two different versions of, and I'm going to do the ultimate version of it. But James and John, Yalganun, and Yalkove, seed of light, they spoke Hebrew because they were, all three of them, Levitical scribes, okay? And that's why James and John followed Yeshua everywhere, because he was a scribe. And so, because they were scribes and they were witnesses, the two witnesses of everything Yeshua did, they wrote it down. You see, that's how they did it. They were the best, and they were scribes from right out the gate when they were born. They were being taught this tradition, So remember this, that everybody else that followed Yeshua, they did not speak Hebrew. They spoke the Indo-Germanic mother tongue, which is the original Aramaic, correctly called Archaimalic, the Archaimalic, okay? The Arche, you hear the Arche, the archives? Archaimalic. Malik means the white star, the royal messenger, the royal message, the milk. Milk is Malik, white, okay? Royal messenger, not angel. The word angel was placed in there by the occultic. Even the word Lucifer was placed into the Masoretic text. It's not there. Proven out by the three best translators on the planet today in modern time, okay? And we can talk about it. I already have talked about all this stuff. But I want to point out the Hebrew is the Sefer. It is the Luciferian code by the Talmudists, by the Israeli Zionists, okay? They have deceived mankind. That's their job. And therefore, and that's why BARB is a part of that. That's why she's promoting the Hebrew and the Greek. The Greek, look at the Greek today in the Strong's Concordance. It's demotic. It's not the Greek. The original Greek were all capital letters. That's what we're talking about. The Indo-Germanic, the original alphabet from the beginning, what was breathed into Hadam. Okay? So so when we come back, we're now going to give some attention to my dear friend NinjaCat, and we're going to show how she was tormented and had criminal acts committed against her by BARB, criminal acts committed by BARB A of Tucson. And let the record stand, ladies and gentlemen. Let the record show. For the record, coming back. Give me a big break if you can, Ninja. I could use 7 minutes, okay? But we're not done yet. We're now going to tell the other side of the story, ladies and gentlemen, what she didn't want you to know. But we're going to tell right here. Coming up next. I'm Dezert-Owl. Glad you tuned in. Thank you for telling your friends. Still time to call your friends, ladies and gentlemen, because we're at war, and it's a battle of the mind. It's a war of words. Thank you for tuning in. Be right back.
Stand by, guys. We'll be right back. I'm just scrolling. As per usual. I won't be a moment.
We'll talk in the meantime. You got to have sound going through. Talk.
Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles special. Um, you're listening here with NinjaCat 111 and Desert-Owl from the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History Live YouTube channels. Welcome back, Desert. And wow, um,
Yeah,
you
and
heard it here
when we
first.
talk, we're hot. Okay, so we got to go right back on the broadcast. We can't talk on the side because it just came through again. Just so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Okay. All right. And that's okay. We're the Real Public Radio.net. They get all the money. We don't have any money, but we do get it done on a song, a wing, and a prayer. And you are our prayer, ladies and gentlemen, because if you weren't there, we wouldn't be here. But the question is, if we weren't here, would you be there? Think about it, right? But the truth is that we rely on support. You know, we rely on grassroots promotion, people telling other people, and so when people aren't sharing, what we're doing, then and then you got some bad girl. I won't even call her a woman. That would be a discredit to womankind. A monster behind us doing damage. Then it's literally we're almost gone by the wayside. Okay, almost gone by the wayside. Ninja, she's near, having I have post traumatic stress disorder from getting beaten up by the criminals, and Ninja has post traumatic stress. She's got, we have what's called a mental breakdown. A mental breakdown means all of a sudden you just can't function anymore. It's not. Sometimes it may be like an emotional breakdown, but these are breakdowns when you are being beaten down, you are worn down. Okay, so please take these things into consideration. What we're talking about, we're in the front line here, and we didn't count on it. We thought we could be peaceful and loving with each other, and we could just talk about great stuff. We didn't know that there was going to be a destroyer coming along to pull down our efforts and our energy. I mean, come on, we're not, you know what I'm saying? But that's the name of the game. The agents are everywhere. That if you're not being persecuted, this is my old classic saying, then you must be doing something wrong. You better be persecuted because if you're not, then you must be doing something wrong. Anybody who steps out to tell the truth, if they know, you remember it's about the questions. If you're not asking the right questions, they don't care what the answers are. You got to ask the right questions, and that's what a journalist does. And that's what I've been doing all my life. Okay, but Yeshua has been leading me down the trail. Okay, so now I want to tell the story of how we were kissed and hugged by the BARB, and then after we were kissed and hugged, we were slayed. Okay, we were slayed, and by the way, did BARB put up her resume yet? So let me know if you see her resume, because I know she's got a master's in BS, but I don't know that she has any other qualifications other
I'm
than
going to check, actually.
yeah, looking like a Babylonian Talmudist. That's the only qualification she's got as a subversive Zionist agent shill who has exposed herself to us. And we have a right to talk about it. We have a right to speak the truth from the mountaintop so that we're never bothered by her again. What she does is her business. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Now, let's talk about the criminal acts that she committed against NinjaCat, okay? So, what happened was, a year ago, Ninja was having, when Ninja and I met, she found our program, and as she just told me earlier, BARB was never going to tell her about it because Ninja discovered it on her own, and BARB was already scoping us out with her telescope, and so what happened was Ninja listening to our broadcast every day we were doing. I think I was doing 2 a day at one point, and then I was really putting it out because I finally got it it took me over a year because I don't know technology. It took me over a year to get my channel going, so I was making up for lost time, and I was putting a lot of content out. In my first 2 weeks on the Forbidden History series, my old channel I can't get back in, the Forbidden History series, the first 2 weeks, starting June 21st, 2018. June 21st, 2018. Go check it out. Those first 2 weeks, I unloaded things that nobody else talks about, ladies and gentlemen, and it's stuff that I've known for decades. And I just said, okay, I'm not I don't care what people think anymore. I'm just going to unload it, you know. And so Ninja comes into the venue, and she's listening, and she becomes a caller, and she's calling in, and we're exchanging our thoughts. She's asking questions. I'm hoping to answer her questions, and in the process, Ninja has a transformation in her life. She recognizes now for the first time certain things being true, correct, complete, and no longer misleading. That she now can identify with the sovereign of the universe, with our Redeemer, with the one who made all things, with Yahweh, who is the great Dul of Fame, or also known as Yeshua, falsely called Jesus. That's we won't get into that today, but that's a false narrative. And Yeshua, and so Ninja, becomes a regular, and so in the process of her having a conversion inside, she no longer wants to to be associated with negatives and also things that would create a barb, get stuck in you, a habit, and therefore, so what happened was, and is that Ninja was going through something around the holidays, around Christmas time, and she, she's been electronically targeted for years. She's been gang stalked for years and is currently being so. And she has a sister and a brother-in-law that hate her guts and are treating her like dirt. And then she's got a mother who's lost her mind, and she was enslaved to take care of her mother 24/7 with 1 or 2 hours a break a week, 1 or 2 hours with no money to save. And she's under all this stress. And so what happened was when Ninja and Ninja's going to correct me on anything I say here. Okay, she'll correct me. She'll set me straight when we bring her on. I'm speaking from what I remember Ninja having shared with me. So I'm just merely conveying what I've learned, and I'm speaking on her behalf as an advocate, as a friend, as a brother in the Moeshiach, or in Christ, if you want to use that terminology. I'm her brother. I'm her friend, and I care about her, and she's a great lady, and she doesn't deserve to be stalked or beaten up. And so what happened was, then when she was having her wake up, she suddenly realized that she didn't want to hang around certain people because they either had a filthy mouth, or they were negative, or they were just too critical, and so she stopped. Well, actually, it was just like for a day, and then she stopped talking to BARB because she was going through some personal ordeal, and so therefore, Ninja put up on the screen, put up on what you have on that. You were able to save a couple of her comments, or one in particular that shows her a narcissistic, control freak attitude towards Ninja. Now, remember, she's only Ninja has only for one day not talked to her, right? And she says, "Hi there, I'm really upset right now. Are you stop talking to me? Stop calling me. You don't even say hi. You don't respond to any of my messages in the YouTube thing. What is the effing wrong with you? What is your problem? Was there for you a day, and now you can't be for me afterwards?" You see? So instead of doing what we would normally do, like, you and I, if we have a friend and they're not in touch with us, we would send them a message and say, "Hey, Ninja, I hope you're doing okay. I haven't heard from you for a couple of days. When you get a moment, could you give me a call, let me know you're okay, because I care about you." That's what we normally do as friends. But here you can see some narcissistic control freak who therefore feels like she's losing control. She's losing control of Ninja, who she's got right under her wing. And I'm going to prove out that it's not just with Ninja, but it's also with, for instance, Mew Mew. We'll get there. Okay. So look at the word. See, this is the thing that Ninja didn't want to be oppressed by, was these effing words that she continually used. She would make a sailor blush. A sailor would blush at talking to this BARB, from Tucson, Arizona. And so, okay, we can move that piece of garbage now, Ninja. I don't want to look at that. Put the quote back up, please. And so what happened was then, so now she's being assaulted. Now while she's under electronic targeting, she's being gang stalked. She now has this creature coming onto her like she's her boss or something, and telling her off and making her feel obligated and guilty that somehow she has an obligation to return her call in a certain period of time. And so that just drove Ninja farther away. And so what happened is then all of a sudden, whenever Ninja would go to another YouTube channel where our friendly sky watchers are looking up, or some other video of interest, and she'd make a comment, Barb would go right in behind her and make nasty comments on Ninja's comment on the threads. And then Ninja is getting the notice, and she's finding out that she's being mocked, she's being cursed at, she's being made fun of. All of these, and so then Barb would go in like a day or two later after Ninja got to read it, and then she'd move it. And so everywhere Ninja went, Barb went too. Barb went to haunt her and to stalk her and to make her feel bad and to try to destroy her, I guess is the right word to use, because what would that do to you if you're already being gang stalked and you're being targeted and you're being manipulated with electronic targeting? What do you think that might do to somebody like that, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think maybe it could push him over the edge? Not to mention Ninja has no relief, nowhere to go, no friends. And she's got, with friends like this, who would need an enemy? Who would need an enemy? And so, I'm absolutely I'm absolutely astounded because I knew that this went on, but because I didn't yet see the bigger picture, I just thought she was the most wicked piece of garbage that ever hit the planet, pretending to love Jesus, and all this stuff. And actually, of course, now I know she doesn't love Yeshua at all. She doesn't follow the scriptures, and we'll prove that out. That'll be that's coming up. Actually, she follows the doctrine of the Babylonian Talmud, and thinks that Ninja's her property, and therefore she could scold Ninja, a full-fledged adult, one with a free-thinking mind, one who made her own decisions about who she wanted to hang out with. And I just want a clarification, Ninja. At this period of time, even though I saw the wickedness of Barb, did I ever say anything to you about Barb at all, ever?
No, you did not.
You made your own decisions about who you wanted to hang out with, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a free thinker. You made your own decision. You didn't want to be around that nonsense, and therefore, then you were persecuted and stalked by her. Stalking. Yeah. That's a criminal act, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it's on the internet.
Sorry, on my own channel as well.
And on your
got deleted.
Yeah. On your channel, right? So you couldn't live free anymore. You are now being harassed by one more. After all of the other stuff on top of your shoulders, you now have this witch, this wicked witch of the West, out of Tucson, Arizona, now also targeting you and trying to make you a victim of her machinations. She probably went to bed every night thinking, how can I get Ninja tomorrow, right? And so to show, bottom line is that Ninja wouldn't bow down and pay her homage. Wouldn't bow down. And let me give you another example, okay? Because, and forgive me for, mentioning your name, Lynn, but I think you know that already you're not a part of that mess anymore. And I congratulate you on waking up as well, because her wake up was also my wake up at the same time, because I learned a little bit more about how Lynn, let me talk, before I mention Moo Moo, what happened a week ago is this piece of garbage, Barb A of Tucson, called Lynn and says, You have to tell me everything I want to know. You have to tell me everything I want. I'm telling you. You tell me what I want to know. So just came on to Lynn. Like Lynn was somehow her child, and then and Barb now demands you're going to tell me everything. Well, what she wants to know is about me. Okay, it's about me, of course. I don't know what that. I don't care. It's what she's doing. What she wanted to know, well, sure, she wants to know anything that she could do to manipulate us, to hurt us, to play games with us, right? She wants to know our comings and goings. She wants to know. Well, that sounds like a government control freak to me. And so let's see if what happened to Mew Mew. So this is how we find out how she really monitors all of these key people, monitors Ninja, monitors Lynn, monitors Mew Mew, monitors me, because what she did then said was that she goes to Lynn, why isn't Mew Mew making comments on my channel? Why hasn't Mew Mew made comments on my last videos? What's Mew Mew doing? Get her over there to make some comments. And so she goes, I'm mad at Mew Mew. Screw her. Screw her. That's what Barb A out of Tucson, Arizona said about Mew Mew, a woman in her 70s, a woman who has her electricity turned off half the time or more, who's in a political revolution in South America. Her husband has died. She's all alone, and Barb of Tucson, Arizona, Barb A, is hounding her, targeting her, stalking her, and wants to know why she's not making further comments on her channel. Wonder why. Wonder why. You see? And so Mew Mew's a victim of this creep. Okay? And of course Lynn was as well. Lynn may not have got the direct assault like Ninja or Mew Mew. I mean, come on. So we're seeing a control freak. This is a Zionist shill control freak, because that's what the Zionist shills do, ladies and gentlemen. You see, they're the controllers. We're the cattle, and they're going to herd us around. They love it. That they stay up. They think they're so important. So what happened to me? Now let's compare my story with Ninja's. Okay, because you remember Ninja was her friend, and then when Ninja was no longer talking to her just for a day or maybe 2 days, then she became her enemy. You're my enemy. You're not talking to me. I'm gonna teach you a lesson, right? So what happened to me? So Barb, she then targets me, and she calls. And so I talked to her on the phone, and I only remember, because we're talking a year ago now, give or take, and I know we had probably at least 2 phone conversations clearly, but I don't remember a third. But you'll have to remember, I didn't know her other than her filthy mouth. That's how I remembered her, this filthy mouth. I didn't know the full extent of what she was doing with Ninja. Ninja kept it private. I only knew vaguely what was happening to Ninja. And so this Barb that wants to stick you in the side with her barb and pull you in, she calls me to pull me in. Because for the first part of her conversation was, well, she was having an online love affair with Matt Rogers, the Skywatcher. All right. And I thought that was pretty humorous, and I'm thinking, yeah, probably in her mind, she was having a love affair. I wonder what Matt Rogers' wife would think about that. Right. Go put 2 and 2 together. Right. And so she's telling, I'm thinking, this is kind of weird that she's telling me this, but okay. And so then, within the next phone call, because she's no longer in love, having a love affair with Matt Rogers, but she wants to hang out with the leaders. You get the picture? She wants to hang out with the leaders because she sees herself as a leader, and what she's doing is she's trying to infiltrate our emotions and our technology or whatever it is that we're doing. And so she calls me and she says, "Look, I got a trailer. I got an extra bedroom. Why don't you come on down? I'll give you a place to stay." And it's like, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I wanted nothing to do with this foul mouth piece of garbage. And so I just simply thanked her, and I never called her again. So on the one instance, she was embracing me. Remember we talked about that word, embracery. They embrace you. Mwah, 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 mwah. And love you. Come on, move down. I mean, can you imagine what would have happened to me if I moved into her mobile home? She would have had all my stuff, right? And I would have been thrown out. She called the sheriff. I'm thrown out of some false, charge. And so the idea was to get me, And so I didn't take her up on the offer. I never called her. I just said, "Thank you, Barb. I appreciate that." But when she realized that she couldn't get me on her barb, on her hook, then all of a sudden, I find out I'm the victim of her attacks for the last year. Okay, she would bop in on the channels, right? We would be doing our broadcasts. All of our friends are there, always passing hearts around, saying, "Hey, I love you." We're all there in peace and love. And then Barb pops in. And she does the grandstand. You know, she makes her presence known and types her statements in all capital letters and quotes scripture. And then she says, well, I'm out of here now. See y'all later. Bye. I just had to stop in for a minute. And so that's all she ever did. She stopped in for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and she made her presence known. Then she's gone. And so the point I'm making here is that that she's never asked me a question. She has never said, "Hey, Desert, what do you're talking about this? What's this thing about Indo-Germanic, or what's the thing about the mother tongue, or what's the thing about the lost writings, or what about you're talking all the time about Farrar Fenton's Bible, the best Bible that's ever been done in modern time. What's all this?" She's never asked me a question. She never called me on the side to ask me a question. She only tried to reel me into her trailer in Tucson, and now all of a sudden, I hear that she's talking about me on her broadcast, and she's running down everything that I talk about. She's the expert, and I don't know. I'm delusional. I don't know anything that I'm talking about, and yet she's never ever once had a friendly conversation with me about anything that I talk about. Don't you think that would be reasonable before she condemns everything I talk about? That as a scholar, if she is, as a journalist, if she would be, that she would then call and say, Desert, I don't understand this. You tell me where you get this. I want to, give me the skinny. Come on. No, she doesn't have to. You see, that's not what it's about. It's not about whether I'm right, she's wrong. It's about the fact that she has to destroy the messenger and his message because that's her job. You see, she's not a Christian. Okay? She's not a Christian. So she was willing to attack and to try to destroy my lifetime's worth of work and research by attacking me in the presentation. A lifetime. Okay? Started 50 years ago at age 14 studying ancient history, and then became an etymologist, a symbologist, a lexicographer, and a whole lot more, because you saw my resume. You saw the top at the beginning of this program. If you haven't, just go back. You will see my qualifications and my study, okay? And so that's the objective of the shill. They have to destroy the messenger. You destroy the message when you destroy the messenger. And so, but the fact, of course, is that she has no knowledge of the Indo-Germanic, and that's because nobody does. Because this is the science that nobody is talking about. Okay? And not that it matters that she doesn't know, because all issues are irrelevant when you know who she really is, that she's a government Zionist shill operative, a destroyer, a manipulator, a handler, a defamer, an attacker, a stalker, all of these things between Ninja, Mew Mew, Lynn, myself, and others, okay? So this is the anatomy, ladies and gentlemen, the anatomy of a self-engrossed narcissist, the anatomy of a Zionist shill, all under the cloak of religion, Christianity, you see? But so let's ask the question, is she a Christian? How about that? Well, I talked about the attack, so it took me a year to figure out that she was coming to my network behind the scenes and was canvassing all of my friends and brought them over to her channel. And that's when it really hit me, because some of the people that were my best friends and listeners on this channel were obviously approached on the side. And then the next thing I find out, they're all over there hanging out. And my friends who were at one time casual friends on the network wouldn't even respond to me, wouldn't even talk to me. So whatever she said about me must have been pretty bad, because these few wonderful people that I loved, that came around, didn't miss a program, all of a sudden were hanging out with BARB and wouldn't even give me the time of day when I contacted them and said hello to them. And I'm talking about multiple times, multiple attempts. And that's what got me scratching my head. I'm thinking, how could it be?
Yeah.
How could it be, Yeah. It's
That's how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen. So let's put her to the test. Let's say if she is really a Christian or not, okay? The Christianity test, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so since Barb likes to criticize us, then let's talk about behavior, okay? What about the behavior? The behavior says to love your enemies, but attack the truth seekers, right? Love your enemies, but attack those who are seeking truth. Oh, No, I don't think the scripture said that. It said love your enemies. And if you love your enemy, or are supposed to love your enemies, then how much more wouldn't you love those who are seeking the truth? How much more wouldn't you love those who have dedicated to their lives to the Father above, even if they don't know it all, even if maybe they're wrong about a few points? Shouldn't we love them and help them on their spiritual journey to, to show them the love of Yeshua, to explain something privately in a better way, but no, instead, no, it's love your enemies and attack those who are seeking the light of truth. I and deplore and hi to everybody jumping on. Forgive me for not saying hi to Kip and Lee, Jennifer, and Deplorable Duck. All of you, and I just saw your comment, Duck, that you've been through the same thing. Thank you. Wonder if it was with the same party. It's an operandus. It's a modus operandi. In other words, this is the classic. What I'm describing, this behavior, as I saw when I was a political activist, is the same recurring behavior. They're somehow groomed for it,
Yes,
and
repeating patterns.
Because it's simple. It's about control. It's about being on top of the game. It's about making yourself out smarter than everybody else. And that type of thing. So love your enemies, attack the truth seekers. So that's clearly shows. Let me put a red check on that one. That shows that's not of the Father, because what happened in the scriptures? Remember, there was a story, and the followers came back to Yeshua. And let me take a sip of my coffee because I'm getting hoarse here. And so there was the followers of Yeshua. A couple of them saw some other guys, trying to do miracles in the name of Yeshua. And so they come back and they say, hey, Yeshua, there's these other people over there, and they're trying to heal people, and they're doing things in your name, and they're not with us. They're not part of our group. So should we go stop them? And so what did he say? He says, no, don't stop them, because there's nobody who can do a work in my royal title that can lightly speak about me. Let them be. Let them do what they are, because all serve him. And that's the implication, you see. All things serve him. Even the darkness, even BARB in her darkness has worked to serve us, because it has helped us to illustrate to all of our friends out there, who many of them are fallen victim to this stuff, like Duck, like Jennifer. I don't know if these things have happened to you, Kip, but many of us are targeted individuals that are on this broadcast. And so this is the perfect 101 on the anatomy of a Zionist shill under the cloak of Christianity and religion, And so let's put it to the test again. So it says that a fresh fountain of water cannot bring forth salt water, and that a salt fountain of water, salty fountain, cannot bring forth fresh water. So let's taste it. It's salty. Because why? Because she can curse better than a sailor. I never heard more filth come out of a woman's mouth in my entire life. The F word, every other sentence, and BS, and all this other stuff that she comes out with. But of course not now. As one of our listeners, listening to her last night, said, oh, she's actually had a conversion. She's now a virgin, and she doesn't curse anymore on her program, And so, while she's, reading the scriptures, of course, after she spent a day attacking other people, now she's quoting scripture, And so her fountain is salty because her mouth is filthy. She's got sewage coming out of her mouth. Filth. Okay, so let's red check that one. That's not of Christianity. And so, now I know this might be a hard one for some women, and I love women, and but the men are supposed to be here for the women. Men are supposed to protect the women. The women are smaller in frame. They're, and they have, they're bringing forth the baby, right? So the men are supposed to be bringing home the truth, right? So that's why Paul said absolutely, adamantly, for I suffer not a woman to teach. That's 1 Timothy 2:12. It doesn't mean you can't talk about the scriptures, or, you can't, read them together, but we're talking about teaching, okay? Teaching the scriptures. It says, I suffer not a woman to teach. Okay, so women are forbidden to teach, at least in the pure tradition. Okay, in the pure tradition, and Paul dominates, the New Testament, which is really the everlasting covenant. And so So Barb then has made herself out to be the number one guru, teacher of the scriptures, and in fact has even attacked my work, the lifetime of my work, and is in the process of doing everything to take me down. She figures she's already taken Ninja down because Ninja's under so much stress and pain. And so we read checked that one. And so the top three things that we might want to consider to be the virtues of Christianity, she fails. So why doesn't anybody see when she's putting on Jesus loves you? Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so, that she is the furthest thing there ever was from the scriptures, but is absolutely identical to the modus operandi of those who follow the Babylonian Talmud and think that you're goyim, and therefore anything we do to you is not a crime. Even murder is not a crime to kill the goyim because they're cattle. You see, this is world Zionism. She has exposed herself. She didn't know who she was coming up against, I guess. She thought she was just going against some wallflower, bird-brained desert owl, and she's just going to roll right over me and shut me down and shut me up. So, but she is a pseudo-Israeli princess, okay? Pseudo-Israel, because Israel was destroyed in 730 BC, and then the short tribe of Judah was taken to Babylon in circa 500 BC. And what came back is the Babylonian Talmud. When they came back from Babylon 70 years later, they came back with but that was just the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Judah and the priesthood, but they weren't the original priesthood anymore. They now call themselves Pharisees and Sadducees. That came out of Babylon as well. And so they were following the Babylonian Talmud. So Israel was gone. The 10 tribes were banished into Assyria and beyond. They escaped into the Eastern Europe and other places to get away from slavery. And what came back was from Babylon and Assyria into the northern 10 tribe region in what we call Syria today were Babylonians and Assyrians. And they took on the religion. What happened was that they were superstitious. And so when they realized that all the people were banished that were of the 10 tribes from this land, they went to Babylon and brought the priesthood back. And they said, teach us your customs, because we want to serve our God, but we want to serve your God too, because we don't want to offend him. And so that's why the Samaritans were hated by the priesthood in Judea. Okay, because they knew that wasn't Israel, and that's why they hated the people, the Samaritans. You know that. They hated the Samaritans. And again, going back to Hebrew, that nobody spoke Hebrew other than the wealthy and the priesthood and the scribes. It was a code system that was for the elite, priesthood, and the wealthy. Are you getting the picture? But now they got everybody to follow the Hebrew when you got to go back to the original, which is the all capital letters on your driver's license in America, at least, which we call Phoenician alphabet, but is really the original alphabet, the Aramaic alphabet. And this is what I've been talking about for months and over a year now, in particular on these different broadcasts. I make all the connections, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We spill the beans. You hear it here first, and you're not going to hear it anywhere else. And so I pity her for teaching in the name of Yeshua, actually Jesus, or whatever she calls him. I don't know, because I've never listened to her garbage. But, to put on the guise of Christianity, I pity her, because I think her world is about to crumble around her for all that she's done to this work of Yeshua. Of what Ninja has done. Go to the cosmic essence and look at what Ninja is producing, ladies and gentlemen, while she's being targeted. She does it till sunrise and then tries to sleep while her mother's waking her up on the other side to serve her breakfast. Okay, what Ninja's producing is a miracle. She takes snippets of all of my long presentations and puts the substance in there, so you don't have to listen to 3 hours. You can go hear about Adam. Okay, and the true nature of Adam. What they hid from you, we're the only ones on the planet revealing it. It's a fact, okay? It's not a brag. It's a fact. Go look for yourself. We're revealing who the Watchers really were. That's coming up next. Ninja's working on it right now. We reveal, I don't even remember. There's some things there that these are the top two I told you about, but there's stuff there that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And so we're hoping that we can get donations for her, that she can monetize the channel when there's 1,000 subscriptions. And we found out now why we got no subscriptions, and it's because somebody's been working us on the side. While we're doing the Father's work, we got a Babylonian Talmud. Talmud has taken us down. That's the anatomy of a Zionist shill under the cloak of Christianity, ladies and gentlemen. So let me bring NinjaCat on and give her a forum now, because she's been patiently listening and producing for us at the same time on this broadcast. She gave me the floor because I was happy to go to her defense. A woman alone, being beaten up by government, being beaten up by family, being beaten up by trolls, and the biggest one of them all, BARB of Tucson. You want to add anything to that, Ninja? Good to have you, and thank you for your service to our community and trying to do what you do, for your wake up, for your being smart enough not to hang out with pukes. And then we found out what they were really all about, right? In other words, like George Bush Jr. said, either you're with me or you're against me, right? And so because you weren't with her anymore, you then became her prime target along with me. And that may be somebody else out there. We don't know anybody else that has the story. I'm sure there's somebody else, but we're just telling our story, our experience, having been victimized by this scum of the earth. Go ahead, Ninja. What's on your mind?
G'day. Wow, Desert. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful. Like I
My
said to
pleasure.
you, like I said to you earlier, I'm also doing this for you because that was how we put the pieces together with that comment that is no longer there under, will I say the channel? Because I don't really want to bring in
What, her channel?
distractions. No,
Her channel?
the comment from her to you, a reply under another channel.
You want to mention it? That's fine. That's fine. I don't care.
Okay,
I didn't see it or give it. I didn't notice it, I guess. So, but yeah, feel free. Okay.
okay, yeah, that's where I first noticed that there was no more sneaking around. She didn't care anymore.
She
Thank
was
you.
attacking me overtly a couple weeks ago, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
through comments, like saying straight out to you that you need to open your eyes. You are being deceived, and something about your small amount of followers following you blindly, and that's what opened my eyes to the pattern. Um, yeah. Also,
That's pattern in English, right? Pattern. Go ahead.
yes. Aussie accent.
All right.
I'm sorry if I sound a bit croaky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you were telling that, it brought tears to my eyes, and I'm trying to keep my composure so that I can tell my story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've done a fantastic job at doing that so far. um, yeah. Just want to say, I love you guys in the chat. Thank you very much for joining. Things have
Absolutely.
been really challenging lately, and all of this is at the same time necessary. We have to do this, we have to get this out so that we can move on with what. Well, this is part of it. This is part of our job. It all goes along with it, but we can get this part out and move on
Yeah.
with
Well,
producing
mhm.
um,
when you
beautiful
when you
things.
when
Yeah,
you tell the truth, you will be attacked. That's when you know who the enemy is,
yeah,
because you're doing your job, then you're being attacked. We didn't attack anybody. We were attacked, and a
yeah,
long time of attack. So we get one day to tell it like it is when we've been attacked for over a year.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
I saw it as me being attacked for a couple of reasons. Also, coincidentally lost quite a few subs around the same time that she was putting abusive comments all over the place.
Mhm.
So that's when it started. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think because I confided in her um, over the phone um, and told her, like, we just spoke like general conversations. And because I confided in her, I'm starting to wonder what else she has twisted. She has twisted things that I have said to her in private and put them out there in the open. Um,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
what I see from back then, I was having a transformation. I became aware that there was a way home, and that Yeshua is real and is here with us. I became aware of that at the end of January last year, 2018. But I didn't know what I felt his presence. It's what gave me the strength and the confidence to come out of my silence, come out of my shell, and start making YouTube videos. Um, but I didn't have a name for this presence. I was just so grateful that it was real. And Desert opened my eyes and and helped me uh, give him a beautiful name, because I never felt comfortable. Um, I always stayed away from religion. I never felt comfortable calling this presence Jesus or God or any of those words. I never felt comfortable with it. Um, so when I discovered Desert's channel, I started to go through a beautiful transformation. And Lynn and Shelley will remember my nickname was Wows and Giggles, or Ninja Wow, Ninja Wows and Giggles. Um, that was the feeling. I'd never felt anything like it before, and it was pure, and it was beautiful, and Desert was helping me with this. The more the more I learned, the more I could see that this was pure and this was real. The more BARB started calling me teacher's pet, and during phone calls would have a jealous tone in her voice, and she also has said behind my back that I was coming on to Desert. I was coming on to you, Desert. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, so
Naturally.
there was a lot of jealousy there. She
Yeah, but she
turned,
wanted you as her pet. She
yeah,
wanted you as her pet, right? We know
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
She was asking, keeping track of you through me. Um,
Through the programming. Yeah.
yes, and like I'm the first one to admit that I'm very unfamiliar with scripture. I'm learning everything here as I go. That's why I need this program. I need to be doing this work. It helps me see. It helps me learn. It helps me um, stay sane. um,
Hmm.
and uh,
And you're
yeah,
also
she
seeing the
was,
Indo-Germanic on your own. Go ahead. You can point
yes,
that. Go
yes,
ahead.
and she would quiz me. And uh, I don't know how to explain it. Tell me her interpretation of things in the Bible when I was completely unfamiliar with any scripture at that time. I was still only just it was baby steps for me back then. Yeah, and yeah, so she would tell me her interpretation and then ask me what you were teaching regarding certain parts of the scripture on your channel, Desert. She would ask me that, and just to check that you were teaching the correct thing and weren't leading people astray. And I don't want to boast. I don't want to say that I know the stories that well, but I remember one specific. I don't remember the actual question, but we were talking about the interpretation of Yeshua dying on the cross, and I remember my answer, and like I wasn't pushing anything on her, I was just telling her what I'd learned. My answer was, this is quote unquote because I remember my exact words. My answer was, maybe Yeshua dying on the cross was a demonstration to us, showing us the way home. And that made her think. Like she took a step back, so to speak, and had a think about it and said, "Oh, right, maybe you're right, Ninja." And
And,
I
and that's
think,
because you knew it was a navigation symbol. It was
yeah,
the Celtic cross, right? It was telling us it points the way back home. It's
yeah,
the ancient navigation symbol was a cross and a circle
yeah,
in the middle.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
because I was being fast tracked and having all these spiritual transformations and being unfamiliar with religion or scripture, the claws came out, and that's where it all started. So yeah, and
Yeah.
then I decided to disconnect
Hmm.
from that, what I thought was a friendship, and yeah, and you explained the rest of it very, very well, Desert. And yeah, the
Thank
same
you.
thing's happening with Mew Mew, or
Yeah.
starting to happen with Mew Mew. That was happening, was leading up to that, before I stopped talking to her. She would let me know that she'd made, for example, she'd made 3 videos and hadn't seen me around in her comments, and I just I couldn't. I was having my own issues to deal with, over here on the other side of the planet, in day-to-day life, and it was getting really hard to watch anybody's videos, and I'm being monitored and tracked and questioned because I'm not watching, because I missed 3 videos. And yeah, and that's what's happening to Mew Mew at the moment. So, and she's,
Yeah.
yeah, what you said, controlled power failures,
Yeah.
controlled
Well,
internet.
that's it,
Yeah,
and that's how you keep people off guard because you're so controlling that nobody figures out that they've been controlled.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you know what I mean? Like like you think it's just a friend thing, but and you don't want anybody to feel bad. So okay, I'll go back over there and listen to you
yeah,
and
yeah,
comment.
yeah.
But it's a rhythm. It's you're proving
Yes,
out the algorithm of that. You know, yeah, you're stalked. You're being
yeah,
stalked and monitored.
yeah,
Yeah, by the controller.
yeah. That's exactly right, does it?
Yeah. Okay. And Kip's got a question here. Desert. What your show does is it challenges me to know my creator deeper. Well,
Oh,
thank
wow.
you, Kip. And I know you've said those type of things before, and I appreciate that. I've noticed, that the people are making astounding comments on the first for the first time on these presentations that they're saying thank you, and they're so we've had quite a number of people get a really great impression, and we're very happy to be here. But the irony was that we never could grow
Yeah,
because somebody was manipulating behind the scenes,
yeah,
and this is why we could never grow. She was either scaring people away,
yep,
or directing them to her following her,
Yeah.
following her,
Oh, and
we
also
follow Yeshua.
sending them in to check up. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
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 sending him in. She's got her spies.
yeah,
Sure, she's not doing it alone. She's got her, left hand, right hand agent working for her. Um, I'm just so grateful. Everybody has their job. I have my job. My job is to convey a presentation that nobody's heard before, based on the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. And you are now getting it, Ninja. You actually are coming up. Well, look at Desert. I saw this. I was looking at this word yesterday, and look at this. And so how can you explain your impression of Indo-Germanic? Like, in other words, are you interested in learning Hebrew, or would you like to learn Greek, or do you see something in the Indo-Germanic that has got your attention, and you're getting it? Do you know how? What do you want to comment on that? Is there a way you can
yeah.
convey that?
I've never been great with any other language except English, and English is I don't know. Like I even remember in school. Like I've had this discussion with Lynn. In school, sometimes you'd look at the words and they just didn't look right. They didn't make sense. Almost like dyslexic at times, but just briefly. And that's happening more and more. With the more I learn here in this program, and that tells me that this is the original thought, and it's real. I have no interest in learning any other language, any writings, forms of writing. I would not be able to get it. I would not feel uh, the the logos speaking. I would not feel
You
the
went offline.
energy.
You went offline. Focus
Uh,
for a moment on what's happening, okay? Because we don't want to lose the program.
okay, I was looking at the
Okay,
phone
we're
and the
back.
phone's
We're
still
back
going.
on. We're back on. Go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah. Like every time doubts have tried to push their way into my head regarding whether this is okay. I've got a red line. Um,
Okay. And hi there to Jet. Good to have you on the broadcast, Jet. She's a real maverick. Check out her channel. She stalks the police. I can't get over her. I wouldn't want to be stalked by her. Come on now. she's I she's got horses and dogs to take care of, and she's out there prowling the streets out there looking for the solution to 5G and everything else. So Jet's a real maverick, and my hat goes off to her for being a woman. This is not really a woman's field, to be trying to expose the beast, but she has a very unique perspective and feels committed. So I respect her very much for that, and she's got some really interesting canvassing videos. So check them out. And back to you, Ninja. You were talking. Um,
yeah, I'll continue in a second. Just while I'm thinking of it, I just want to say, Jet, the amount of times I have tried to heart all of your comments on my channel is phenomenal. There's something going on there. I don't know what, but I get an error 404 message whenever I try and give you a heart, and there's no reply option. And even when Desert replies to your comments, like under my videos, even when Desert replies to your comments, I can't heart Desert's comment under there either. So I just want you to know that I've been trying. I've been trying to, and it's just not working. I don't know what is wrong. Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah. Like even when they've tried to push doubt into my head regarding all of this, um, I always get confirmation that this is real. This is pure. Um, and I have no more words.
mhm. Yeah. Well,
It's easy to see. It's easy to comprehend. Um, Other languages don't make sense. This one
yeah.
does.
Well, this is why in the 1800s, Waddle. You see, the reason we're able to get it. You're getting it. Shelley's get it. Kip is getting it. Others of you are getting it here. Lynn definitely gets it.
Yes.
Is so this is the reason we're getting it. Our friends here, um, is because, as Waddell pointed out in the 1800s, and he did several dictionaries on the Indo-Germanic, the Aryan. It's this, like in my hand is here, a Sumer Aryan dictionary, not Anunnaki, Aryan. Okay, and I'll explain that in a minute, the difference, because he said that he was proving out that we're speaking 70% what goes directly back into Sumer, which is the Aryan Archimalic, the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. You see? And so that's why you're seeing all these Viper programs and all these other programs on Sumer that are about Anunnaki and fallen ones, that came in a spaceship, because mind you, in the 1800s, none of that was a part of Waddell's work. He was just pointing out that this was the Aryan civilization. It was sister to Maitzar, falsely called Egypt, and that we are speaking today in a modern time, 70% Sumerian / Aramaic / Indo-Germanic mother tongue, and that's why I have been trying to get everybody to see. Now, mind you, I saw all that without the work of Waddell. I just got Waddell's work over the last year, and so the point was that I could see it 40 plus years ago and was following the trail and was showing the code, and then I had to learn about the code of the priesthood, not just the Aramaic, but literally that there was a manipulation going on. And so literally all this unfolded. Then what the Father does for me is he gives me the confirmations through other sources, like the
Yeah.
Waddell Dictionary. So when you hear them talking about Sumer, and that the Anunnaki were there, and they came down from another planet, it's all the cover for our Aryan heritage, ladies and gentlemen, about who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are. All anti-gravity craft are Earth-based. There is no outer space vehicles coming in. This is the greatest show on Earth. When you mix the letter L and the R, these are the two power letters, power secret vowels. Alien is Aryan. Just change one letter. Your right hand is the light hand. Your left hand is reft, the reft hand, the reft of light. The weaker hand, reft of the energy of light. You see, change out the R and L, do it a bunch of words. It's the greatest show on Earth. It's a control mechanism, and there are gatekeepers. And so the gatekeepers, like BARB, are working for the bigger gatekeepers, that have the lodge. She probably is an Eastern Star witch, and therefore she was groomed for this. She's a puppy, and she gets dog chow every evening probably from them, and she's just feeling very important. And now Kip is saying, Desert, I definitely get it, but Jesus and Father God are the names he found me with. I'll probably never be able to change. Well, Kip, that's surely between you and the Father above. I only point out what the original. In other words, I don't want anybody changing my words. And just to answer the question, I don't want anybody changing my words. I want the original words. And so, in other words, you see what happened to me. I'll go back. One day, when I was reading the scriptures back 30 years ago or 35 years ago, whenever it was, and I'm reading about the story of Joshua, and then all of a sudden I'm saying, wait a minute, this guy Joshua, with Moses, Moeshan, and all, I'm saying he's the archetype. He's the archetype and image of Jesus. And so all of a sudden I got it. I realized that this guy, son of Nun, which is really son of noon, you see, at high noon, son of noon. And so the words, we're going back to the original. So God, it took over Elohim, and Lord, capital L, Lord, took over Yahweh, and so it's about going back. In other words, the implication is that we go back, we constantly throw off the baggage that we don't need. So it's a personal thing, Kip. That's between you and the Father. That's you got to make your own call, and but I want all the original words, and that's why we have fun here. We're all Ninja and Lynn and Shelley and
Wows and giggles.
Others.
Yep.
Yeah, are spelling words. They're working with words because they're getting the Indo-Germanic, and therefore when you go back, in other words, in the beginning is not the word. It says Greek in the logo. Greek is logo. In the beginning is the logo, but the original is a shavor, and a shavor means the center of the royal eye. Well, what is a word? It is the center of the royal eye. It means it is to awaken us into something greater. So the original forms have definite bearing. Okay, they have definite bearing, and they tell a story, and that's how we go back. Aisha, Aisha, they put it on a map. They're telling us in our face, but we never were connected because nobody told us that Aisha Menor, we think it means minor. Aisha minor, oh, the little Aisha. No, Aisha Menor, a silent A at the end of it. Menor is the light, the menorah, right? The menor, the light. So what is the light of that part of the world? It is Jerusalem, Yarul Shalom. It is the royal light of mankind because it was the one that identified with the one deity, the play of the one, not the polytheos, poly many gods, that were of all the other cultures. So this was the light of the world, also known as the navel of the world. So these words are defined, and telling a story. So that's what we're doing. Now we're defining them here. So I know you get it. You put out a rather interesting promo one day on the original thought. That was a beautiful video you did, Kip. So I know you get it. And so you'll just have to tune in more often and hear us speaking in it. But eventually you'll realize when you know that there are negative connotations within Yeshua out of the Messianic movement, because that comes out of the Talmud. It means may his name be blotted out forever. Then also Jesus and Christ, has a negative connotation. It's good. The good news is that our Father and our Redeemer will listen to us if we use those words. That's the good news. But they are a denigration of from the original, and so therefore I want the originals. That's it. And you say I do find a unique feeling when I pray to Yeshua. So maybe there is actual power in words. Well, and notice that all the scriptures use the word name, right? But name is a negative term because it means that which is in the mud, that which is at the lowest point. And even in Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition, it says a name is a corporation. You see, so it's a fiction. So what we want is title. As we see in the word title, the tit means the point. And so when I refer to him, and if I ever can finally do this transliteration, it will be not in his name, but in his royal title. Now that sounds like it's honoring him, right, Ninja? It's honoring the correct phraseology for the one who made all things. He don't have a name. He has a royal title, the tit, at the top of the creation. And his royal title is Yeshua, the Moeshiach. There's the word Aisha. That word is in all the first family that came out, of Ole Shaphay, that's Joseph, and Zavramhaim, had Aisha Reha. Aisha Reha is the correct for Sarah. This is the Indo-Germanic. It's not the Hebrew. It's not the Greek. It is the Indo-Germanic. These are original forms, okay, that are being brought here. Nowhere else on the planet. That it makes it easy to beat us up. Somebody can beat us up real easy because nobody can tell it differently. They don't know what this Indo-Germanic is about. It sounds funny to them, so unless one will sit by and listen for a while and give it some serious consideration, then it's easy to scoff at. But it's a science, and now Ninja knows the science, Shelley knows the science, Lynn knows the science, Jet's been listening in quite a bit. Kip has got a good impression the first time he came in here and heard it. So it is a science, and unless school, when we go to learn a science, we have to go to school to learn a science. We can't learn the science overnight, Okay, Kip, way to go. Right? So yeah, we're making history, being a part of history, and we're telling it in a way like nobody else ever has in our modern. That's the gift, the grace of the Father, because He knows how bad it is. He knows what the scum of the earth are doing. So He comes down, He takes somebody that don't deserve it, ain't worthy of it, and He gives me a download that I could never have imagined, and so I'm so grateful. There's Lynn. Hey, there is life and there is death in Aisha Wars. Okay.
Yes.
And
yes.
so, all right. Now, so Ninja, and by the way, if anybody wants to call in, Another iPhone here that I don't mind testing, and it's 608-566-7295, 608-566-7295. So I can put the phone up here. I got to get another speaker deal, but anyway, I think we can do a test if somebody wanted to call on the phone. We can't do it on Skype, I don't think so. But
No,
we'll,
wouldn't want to
yeah.
risk it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you got any comments or questions, put them in the chat. Capital letters, my first name, upper and lowercase on the question or answers. Oh, wait a minute. Jennifer had a question. Wait a minute. Is Jennifer still here? Jennifer.
I think she was just stopping in to say g'day.
Oh, okay. Well, Jennifer, if you're here, let me know because I would be glad to. I have it written on a card here from a week ago. You had asked a
Oh,
question on Ninja's channel, and do you think we just go ahead and try to answer it here, and then we can
yeah. Go ahead and answer it
tell her?
because she can always listen back.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
tell her we're at the 2 hour and 50 minute mark. 2 hours 51 minutes. Okay,
Hang on, I'll just
and
write that
so
down.
yes, so take a like I say, put my name in capital letters, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to do it. We'll give Ninja a follow up here. But okay, so Jennifer, Lee Jennifer Corlu Ares, what a name! And you know what? She's a targeted individual. Go to her channel, ladies and gentlemen. She's up on the chat. Just click on her channel. A very noble lady, brave, standing out in the face of persecution as well. Okay, but so her question is, where does all of this info come from, like the different meaning of words? And I couldn't just type her a message on this, because it's a big one. Where does all this info come from? And so it comes from variable sources. Mine came from Yeshua opening my eyes. He anointed me. The anointing is truth, and so he allowed me to see words. He allowed me to see that within the words were words. And so, in other words, they're compounded. There are many words in a big word, right? There's several words. And so, clearly in some words, you can see two words, or three, and they're abbreviated. They're not the original form, but they got the basic makeup of the original word, but the letters have been switched out. And and so it was going down the trail of getting dictionaries. I got a dictionary for every European tongue. And I found the switch out trail, how they switch things out with different cultures, and then of course, being a student of the scriptures, we always look up words in the Hebrew or the Greek, the Strong's Concordance, and so it was just an unfolding. It was an unfolding, and then now I've got the best dictionaries on the Indo-Germanic to confirm the things I was seeing, So that's basically it, Jennifer, and appreciate your stopping by. Persecuted lady, you can know you've got a home here. Nobody will beat you up. Okay, nobody will stalk you. Well, watch out because BARB might start stalking you if you come here and hang out, but that's okay. Now you know. Everybody knows now.
Yeah.
Wicked Zionist shill.
She's good at blocking, so it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Well, this lady ought to be. Most targeted people are really sharp and are very sensitive to their surroundings.
Yeah.
So anyway, get dictionaries. BARB, I got the Oxford Dictionary, the $450 dictionary back in the late 1980s. I use a magnifying glass to read it. It's big. Took them 40 years or more to produce. And so I read dictionaries. You got to. I've read all the Middle English Dictionary by Skeet. I started reading the Webster Dictionary from 1828. I got law dictionaries. I've got, all kinds. And so that's it's a sign. But we're supposed to be enlightened creatures. And so putting on the enlightenment means, we're going to go somewhere. Like the rocket ship, he's filling his rocket with some fuel, right? Let's fill it with fuel. And then when you got all the fuel in there, you can go somewhere. We're unraveling a mystery. We are unraveling the mysteries of life. And our words have been controlled. What is the word? Oh, to put you under the spell. They put you under the spell by controlling the spelling of words. That's why they called Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Well, they took away the word evangelion. And they put instead, after a few hundred years, because evangelion means the star message of enlightenment, and they don't want us to be enlightened, so they switched it out and put the word gospel on there. Go spell, fool, if you think you can. But of course, they know everybody can't spell. They've been given false narratives, false terms, controlled vocabulary. That's the spell they put us under. It's not a real supernatural power. It's a trick. It's an art, word trickery. So I want to be set free from their narrative. I want to be set free from their spell and spelling. Just like angel is Anglo-Saxon. Go look in the Middle English Dictionary. Look in the Latin Dictionary. Angel is English. Okay? And so it's Malik. They took away the word Malik. Why did they take away the word Malik? Because they don't want us to know the meaning. It's a power word. Okay? Why did they take away all these other words? Because it's got a core root in the Indo-Germanic, and so that's what we're revealing here. The word isn't Sefer. The Old Covenant Bible is not, or the New Testament in Hebrew is called Sefer, but it's not the Sefer. That's Lucifer. That's the code. The Sefer is the code. It is the Shulfar. The book is called Shulfar, not Sefer. Shulfar means the knowledge of fire, the knowledge from afar, and other things, depending upon how you break the word down. Just like Yahshua is not his complete name. It's the one we choose to find the middle ground with, because his real name is Yashulim Va, and Yah means that which goes round. Shulan means the knowledge that came down, and Va is the serpent. So literally, Yashulim Va means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. Well, what happened in the wilderness? Was not Moses told to put a serpent on the cross? And he said to go around the camp, and anybody that sees the serpent could live. So it's all about the knowledge of the serpent, because everything in creation is the serpent. Right, Ninja?
Yes. Sorry, I have no voice as well.
Where's your quick gun? Well, you're supposed to put the serpent up there. That's all right.
I'm looking.
You're wearing the shirt.
I'm scrolling.
Yeah, you're wearing shirt and pants. You're wearing the serpent. You put on the shirt and pants. You put on the serpent every day. You're stroking the serpent. You love the serpent. You look at the serpent. Nice serpent. You brush the serpent's teeth, because the serpent is the flesh. That's what fell in the beginning, from spirit into dark matter, and we have to be set free. The serpent is biting at our heel, and we have to crush it under our feet. Okay, and female is matter. Okay, so anyway, that's where we're at here today, ladies and gentlemen, and that's an interesting DNA structure of a serpent. That's showing that our DNA itself is serpentine. And then of course the sporum is a serpent as well. The sporum is a serpent. Oh yeah, there's the genes, right? The gene splicing. That's why they put us. I was put on the genes, right? Because it's about culture, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's in your genes, sure. And okay. Well, Ninja, did we do enough recovery damage today? Do you think maybe we can get on with our broadcast now and let the wicked do her dance, let her do her magic, and kill chickens in the backyard, hoping to gain more power over us, and we just ignore her?
I think so. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let her kill all the chickens she wants. Okay, pluck all the feathers you can in your backyard, because you have no power over the people of Yeshua. We can take a hit. We forgive you. I forgive her. Do you forgive her, Ninja, for being so wicked?
Yes. You know the challenge I had with speaking out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
yeah.
I've created light for her.
Yeah.
I've prayed for her wickedness. But I know she'll probably never wake up, unless her ego is taken away from her. Usually people lose their ego when they're on their deathbed, so that she'll definitely lose her ego then. But maybe in the meantime she could have a revolution in thinking, and be set free. It happened to some bad guys in the past, right? The bad guys turned good guys. That was Paul. Paul was killing everybody, right? But then he woke up, so it could happen.
Yeah.
All right, now Kip is saying, Desert, the scripture, no man having put his hand to the plow and turning back is worthy of the kingdom of God. Can you explain this? Oh, sure. Right. Well, in other words, if you're still looking back, it still means you love the world. So until we put both of those hands on the plow and we don't look back any longer, we're still, that looking back means we're looking at something in the world. I want to serve Yeshua, but I really love this other arrangement I got here, like the wealth of the world. Or we could also, the symbolism of that we find identical within within Sodom and Gomorrah. Only thing is that the word isn't Sodom; it's Eshadom, and it means the royal eye of judgment. That they abbreviated those words, the royal eye of judgment, because that's what happened to Eshadom, Sodom. And Lot is not his correct name; it's Lotan. Look in the Strong's Concordance, evidence that the Hebrew is lying. The Zionist, Mesorim Egyptians are lying to us. So when Lot's wife looked back, what happened to her? She died of a stroke. So looking back brings death. So if you're looking forward, you're only looking towards the light, and you're plowing towards the sun. In the metaphor, plowing towards the sun and putting on the light. So you're not looking back because there's nothing here to say to help to want to look back for. I'm sick of this world. I'm sick of these Babylonian Talmudic Zionist shills that are, they've infiltrated me. It cost me a house on a lake. The local group at that time when I had United Truckers, or the group before that, or the group after that. How many times did these shills come around and mess up things for me, my work? So, Kip, you're saying, Father, remove the scales from her eyes. That's right. And Yoshele saying, let there be rain. We forgive you, Barb. That's right. It doesn't mean she's freed from her obligations. It doesn't mean she's freed from the crimes that she has committed. It just means we're not going to harbor any hatred towards her. We're not going to harbor ill will for her, but we forgive her. And so we give her another day, another sunrise, whether she deserves it or not. Right? Yeah. Nice picture on the sunrise.
Thank you. Yeah. Let there be rain.
Let there be rain. So when are we on this broadcast, Ninja?
What day is it today, Desert?
It's yesterday.
Yeah. Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, US.
Every Mondays and Fridays.
Which is technically Tuesday, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Aussie time. Yeah.
Okay.
On this channel,
we're on.
You will hear it here first. Nowhere else.
And tomorrow? Yeah, and tomorrow, I'm not sure, but we're looking at possibly 11 a.m. or it may be later in the evening. I'm not sure yet how my voice is holding up. And yeah, okay. Kip, you're not spelling my name correct. Is that enough? There you go. Thank you. He read my mind. I didn't even get to say it. He's got it. Thank you.
Whoops, typo.
Yeah.
Dessert.
Some women wanted to call me dessert, and that's okay. And I can take a hit, no matter how you want to play with it. But it's a metaphor for that the barren desert has no fresh water on it. That's the desert. It's thirsted. Backwards is thirsted. That's the anagram in desert. Thirsted. You're thirsty on the desert.
Oh wow.
And the owl. So the owl, and they actually have, in the NIV of the worst translation of them all. They even call me, or call the owl, the desert owl. So instead of the owl in the desert. So no big deal. It's just Father gave me eyes to see. We all have to be owls. We all have to be owls. And when you're old, the Indo-Germanic, where they say what, elder, it's not elder, it's ultar. Ultar. So it means the power of the owl. So being an elder means you got the power of the owl because you can now see things. You've been around a long time, so you can help the younger generations out. So you're the ultar. So that's how the Indo-Germanic works. It's real simple. But it takes us back to what was breathed into Adam. There are exact root forms, and I've done some dictionaries. Ninja's got them. You hit Ninja up by email. Tell if you want to make a donation. We give half the donation to Ninja, or if you want to you don't have funny money, then just tell her, and Ninja will get it to you. Okay, she'll get it to you. So it's a science. We're on the trail. We're sharing it, and we love life. We love all people. We hate no one. We love our enemies, even Barb. And we're sorry that she made us the enemy, but that's her problem, not ours. Because she's not going to stop the Father's work. She's only exposing herself. That's what she did. I don't know how many other people are suffering at her hand, but I think she's controlling quite a few people from what it looks like. So may they be set free and be free thinkers and not under her false narratives of imitating me and or criticizing or whatever. So I'm wearing out, Ninja. I can feel it right now. I'm glad we got our second. We got started on the second run. It was hard for me to get back in. I was getting lethargic. I'm not
Yeah,
this.
thank
I don't have
you.
that young energy anymore.
Thank you
Uh,
for sticking with me. I wanted to get this done tonight so that we could move on.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't want to
yeah,
put it off for another night, so thank you. Thank you
right.
for
So if you
sticking
if
with
you
me.
feel, yeah. So if you feel there's somebody that needs this presentation, you copy the link and you send it to them by email or on the Skype channel or however Skype phone or on YouTube. Pass it around because somebody is out there hurting other people, ladies and gentlemen. They're malicious. They're in darkness. They're pretenders. Okay, and so everybody deserves to know to beware. Beware of the darkness that is lurking to deceive you and to control you and destroy work like us because we're an easy target. I got a funny name. We're talking about a science that nobody has ever heard of before, the Indo-Germanic, but yet it is what is first, and what is first is superior, and what is first is original, and we have to see and read it for ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Kip. Barb's enemy in the prime element is Yeshua because she went after his work, but she doesn't care because she takes the oath of Kol Nidre once a year and therefore can lie all she wants. And a lie is not a lie. She can take oaths all day long, and an oath is not an oath as long as she's taken her oath of Kol Nidre once a year. The
Desert,
Babylonian, yeah.
can you explain that just a little bit more before we go? Is that okay?
Explain
The
what,
the
Alicia?
the oath that you referred
Well,
to.
okay. Well, it's the reason I need to get my Mozilla Thunderbird back up. I got a copy of it. If you do a search for the Oath of Kol Nidre on the internet, you'll probably find it. It's KOL, two words, KOL, and then NIDRI. Okay, so I'll type it in there.
Okay.
Kol, KOL, NIDRI. Okay, I think that's it. Cult Nidre, and so once a year, maybe at their Passover or whenever, and in other words, it's a Babylonian Talmud thing. It's not a original custom of Israel, Israel. It is a Babylonian Talmud that says, and of all the oaths that I make this year, no oath will be regarded as an oath, and every lie that I tell this year will not be regarded as a lie.
Okay.
The
I
oath of
get
Kol
it now.
Nidre, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, so they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
They're set
Like
free. They're
if
under a
yeah.
special privilege,
Yeah, like
They're,
the care ceremony that they do at Bohemian Grove. It's
yeah,
the
well, the
same
Masons
thing.
have one as well.
Yeah.
The Masons have their own oath, and it
Yeah.
says that you have to protect your brother Mason even unto murder. And if you go to court, just prevaricate, pretend you don't remember the details. Just don't incriminate or bring to shame your Masonic order. And they give the Grand Hailing sign, and the judge sees it and he nods, sure, brother, okay, yeah. And so it's a racket. It's a
Yeah.
subversive underworld racket that is running our world, and we are the victims of this arrangement because they're all having a party, special class, Eastern Star, and they're behind the scene in another culture. They're not like us. They hate our guts. You see, they see us as disgusting and as cattle, and therefore they are happy to do what they do to us. She's a good manipulator, isn't she, Linda? Pretty good manipulator. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And people are
Okay.
hanging off her every word. I just want to add a little bit that I forgot, and then I'll let you go. Also, I noticed. Actually, I noticed it a while ago. Um, Last year when I was doing a lot of research and a lot of sky watching. I just wanted to figure out what was going on up there. I was sick of the weird. I was telling Barb what I was figuring out as I was figuring it out. And when I slowed down with the sky watching, um, as I started to realize that focusing on it was hurting me, because just focusing on it was making me feel physically ill, with the energy that was being projected back at me from doing that. Um, and I realized that, you know, I was focusing on it was making me feel physically ill, with the energy that was that was being projected back at me from doing that. Um, and I realized that, you know, I was focusing on it was making me feel physically ill, with the energy that was that was being projected back at me from doing that. I would still get pictures of weird stuff in the sky or whatever, and just not put it up on my channel because I wasn't doing it as much, and I was trying to focus on what you were teaching us, Desert. And yeah, you know my challenge with that. Like, it was an obsession, a lifelong obsession
Yeah,
that I had. Yeah, it
sure.
was like an addiction.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I was still communicating with her, and I would send her weird pictures occasionally and explain what I was figuring out. Um, like, I looked into. Anyone can look back at my channel. You can see all my research, all my videos, the progress. Um, my theories changed throughout the year um, as I figured things out. And there's research on frequencies. There's research on oh, what else? I'm trying to think. A lot of the research I did uh, didn't go on my channel, but what I figured out, like the puzzle pieces from that research, did go onto my channel. Like, there's research on the directed energy weapons, and I touched on the chemicals that they're spraying, and the illusions in the sky that they're creating with the colors from these chemicals, and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
I
And
noticed
don't
that,
forget holograms.
yeah, that
Holograms
too,
too. Yeah.
that too. Um, yeah, I've got a video on that as well. Anyway, um, um, yeah, I've noticed that she she says information that is not correct. Um, I don't know if it's deliberate or if it's from not doing her own research. Um, yeah, and the comment, "You saw it here first," really got me, Desert. From that, from the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Her
and
comment, right? Plagiarizing me, right? The
yeah,
way she does it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and in the title of that video, something about a weird early sunset. I just want to put it out there, and this is basic knowledge, but I just also want to put it out there that I have uh, been looking for truth my entire life. I have been skywatching my entire life, even though I only started uploading last year. I've been a lifelong skywatcher. Uh, I've worked in an observatory. I ran a planetarium. Um, my hobby was astronomy. I've used the biggest telescope in the southern hemisphere. Unfortunately, it got burnt uh, in the Canberra fires of 2003, but I had the privilege of using it. Um, so I know what I'm talking about. Uh, yeah, and what this woman is putting out on her videos is wrong. It's it's misinterpreted. Um, the thing about the early sunset, it's autumn over there. If yeah, I'm correct, aren't I? Autumn over there.
Yeah, we're going into autumn. That's
You're
correct.
going into autumn, right? As we are going into spring. When the seasons change in autumn and spring, that's when you notice the sunsets earlier each day, or in spring, the sun sets a little later each day because the seasons are changing and the Earth's position around the sun is changing. And yeah, it's basic astronomy. Um, and she's putting out that it's a weird early sunset when that's just the way it is with the seasons. It's simple. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and also I saw something I just want to bring up. Sorry, Kip. I just want to say, I just want to say sorry, Kip, in advance. This is just something I want to put out there. Um, I didn't mean to bring this into this live stream, but I saw it and I just want to bring it up while I'm thinking of it. And it's to do with astronomy. Uh, okay, so with all this, I really don't want to bring this up, but anyway, I'm going to say it. With all this flat Earth stuff at the moment, and we've got NASA, who are the biggest uh, bunch of liars. We can see that they fake photographs and footage, and you can't trust anything they put out. Um, and yet they promote the globe Earth and wanting to travel into space. Um, I think I think that all the fake is deliberate to deceive people and possibly uh, encourage them towards thinking that the Earth is flat by going with the round Earth thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a double play there. Do you know what I mean?
Are you asking me a question?
Yeah, I'm just saying out loud what I've been seeing. That's all.
I'm sorry, Ninja. I was organizing the cards, and
Oh,
so
does it?
what is? I have a lot of 3x5 cards on my desk here. And so what is the question? Real quick, go try it again. I was
I think,
listening, so I didn't
yeah,
get the last
I
part.
think NASA is putting out the all the fake stuff deliberately to sway people and away from the globe and think that it's flat.
Right, right. Well. You see, for some people, it's up to debate, or
Yeah,
some people have a different perspective than I do. But
it's just
the
something that I
disinformation
saw. That's
start
all.
the disinformation starts with the Aryan watchers from the beginning. Then they work through the Vatican in this modern time, and the question would be why does the Vatican own virtually every satellite in the world, every satellite telescope, every satellite dish? Just like they own the universities, just like they own the politicians, therefore they own the military as well. They are all under, Hitler didn't write Mein Kampf, it was a Jesuit who wrote Mein Kampf. So we have to see the game behind the game. And so it's all about disinformation. And so I, I just don't know what to say. Everybody's got to make up their own mind
Yeah,
about what is what, and I don't have a problem if other people see differently than I do.
yeah,
I think that to me that U-2 spy plane going up to 70,000 feet confirms what I already knew to be true,
yeah,
and therefore there was to me no other reason to do anything else. But naturally, we could put certain elements behind why why this is so. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
Well,
all.
I went back and forth with it, and just the way
Yeah.
so many channels are pouncing on the Earth is flat, the Earth is flat, the Earth is flat is pushing me
Well,
again in the other direction anyway. So
yeah. Well,
yeah,
what's really hard, I think, even more harder to wrap our mind around is the age of the Earth. Because
yeah,
the priesthood got us to think the Earth was made in six 24-hour periods, not six great ages, but six 24-hour periods, and therefore was made approximately 8,000, at best, and 10,000 years ago. Bing bang bada bong bada bing bada boom boom. There it is. Just magic, magic. No, but if you look at with your eyes open, you can see all the evidence that the Earth is a couple billion years old. That is hard for the mind to wrap around. But you can see it's easily millions of years old without questioning the bigger number, right? But if you know that the Earth started as a molten ball of lava that came out of the sun,
yeah,
then
yeah,
it took an orbit. So the process took a long time to get to what we have today.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was a long process.
Everything's round. So why wouldn't the Earth be? That's
Okay, that's a good way of looking at it.
yeah. Everything
Um,
spins and it's round and
well,
yeah,
that's the serpent, you see, because in other words, the everything, all the stars in this galaxy go around what we call the black hole, but it's really it's just simply a sphere of energy. At the middle is the energy that makes everything go around, and so everything is spinning. So the galaxy is spinning, and then the solar system is spinning. the sun is spinning, the earth is spinning, the moon is going around. Then when we look smaller, we see that the oceans are going around. Then we take it all the way down to the atom, and the electrons and protons are all spinning. Everything spins because if you stop moving, what happens? You're dead,
Yeah.
right? You die.
Yeah.
Everything. Your circulatory system has to keep moving, right? Look at this. I'm getting a phone call from Grand Canyon, Arizona. Huh.
Really?
Well, I'm not taking it because I'm not a tourist these days, so I'm not worried about it. But if somebody was calling, they should text me. They should know to text me. Um, if you're calling, then send me a text, and then I'll know that's for the program because I'm not going to take the
Yeah.
call on the program.
Yeah.
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 So, okay. So, desert, the land, the hardcore flat earthers are just mean and nasty mostly. Well, that's what I found out. In other words, they're on a mission.
Yeah.
Their mission is to convince everybody else, is something different than what we've received all of our lives. So I don't, I touched on that issue once. We did it for the record. I made my point clear. I don't need to hammer it. I don't feel I need to bring it up again, because, I'm on the record for what I feel is to be true, correct, complete, not misleading. And I gave my reasons for it. And so therefore, but yeah, like one guy just told me off one day because he, made me out to be stupid because I
Yeah.
didn't follow what he was. And actually, what was funny, what I said was because I had a lady friend who thought, said the Earth was flat, and so I said, well, and I was on the phone with this other YouTuber, big channel, big macho guy, big channel, and I said, well, but she's got a right to follow whatever she wants to follow. So I just admitted that we all have a right to think what we want to think, to follow what we want to follow. In spite of the fact that I said that, he then said, "You mean you think the Earth is round?" And then, so in other words, you think I had the right, even though I thought my friend had the right, I didn't have the right to think on my own, to think for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, he beat me up basically, and and then and that was sort of like a parting of the ways, if I remember right, And so it's amazing how some people get so passionate. It's there's so many things that we're revealing, like about the Aryan race, all of these that who Adam is, and that's on the Cosmic Essence. Go check it out. And the Watchers, we are presenting the element. Oh, and the flood. The flood is another one. The element of the story that nobody else is talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you listen,
Yeah. The Watchers.
you'll know that it's probably true. Okay, because I give enough evidence to show that it's true about
Yeah.
these things. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm not here to convince anyone. I won't lose any sleep if my friends don't come around to it. I just wish everybody could see what I see. That's all I know.
Yeah. I just want to say that the Watchers isn't there yet. I'm working on it. Yeah.
The what?
The Watchers.
What?
It isn't.
That's coming next.
Yeah, it's coming next.
So please subscribe. Please subscribe to Cosmic Essence and support a lady who's been beaten up left and right, and this work because we are attempting to make history and being a part of history. After all, somebody's got to do it, and that's why I'm here. Right, Ninja?
Yes, Desert.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why you're here too now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's all do it together. I guess that's why everybody is here on the chat because they love hearing something different that they've not heard before. They want to join us in making lemonade out of lemons. So fantastic. Let's have a lemonade party.
Okay.
And let's do something we've not done before and be a part of history. So I want to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm passing it back to NinjaCat. And don't forget, if you want to know the future, then you need to look for the forbidden history because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week, somewhere out there in cyberspace, on therealpublicradio.net and on NinjaCat 111. It's what they didn't want you to know.
That we tell right here.
You Ninja. I'll see y'all. Peace and love, everybody.
Thank you, Desert. Peace and love.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, that's it. These are a few thumbnails for the videos that have been uploaded so far on Cosmic. Kip, it's me. I'm I'm Cosmic. um, who are you talking about, Kip? Are you talking about Barb's channel? Because I can do that for you. Um, anyway, I'm just going to scroll and see if I have any more graphics to show you. I don't think I do.
You're talking about your own program.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining. So much. Okay, I'm talking over my own program. Okay. Um, I think I've fixed it. Thank you for joining so much. I will look for some music to play at the end. I love you guys. Love you guys. Heaps, and just be aware of repeating patterns and the characteristics that we talked about on the program. Um, and don't be fooled. Um, okay, creating light for all of you, and remember, block the trolls. Okay, still looking for some nice music. There it is. Alright, see you guys later. Be safe out there. Love yous.